Well. Great. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Welcome to today's edition of the Closing Action. By the way, I want to apologize for Friday. It was just one of those crazy times. Uh, we had a lot going on and we were running in between late and we just could not keep it up. We just couldn't. So, I mean, we're almost an hour late, so we didn't want to keep you guys too long. So we decided that we would just not uh, host a show on Friday. We apologize. Hey Henry, good to see you. Good to see you, Henry. Uh, but it is so good to be back. Good to see everybody. It's been cold around. If you are in the U.S., some areas it's getting really cold. The weather is kind of changing a little bit, but life goes on, and it's a lot been happening in Liberia the last. Uh, I know, Ruth. You right, Ruth. Very true. Just that we sometimes things happen, and we just have to do it. But our intention not to do it. We apologize for Friday on behalf of the crew. Want to apologize uh, that we didn't come on Friday. I was actually driving, running from a soccer game a basketball game for my son, and I was just running late. It was his first game of the year, and I was running late, so I had to by the time the game was over, it was almost 5 o'clock, and then the other guys were stuck. Somebody was busy. Kev was, it was just crazy. So we apologize. Hope not to do that again. I know you guys have been very loyal, and we owe it to you guys to ensure that the show is held the day that we have allocated Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. But if you're just joining us, folks, please share the show. Closing Acumen, we are on live. There's a lot happening in the country. There's a lot happening in Liberia. Boy, from cabinet retreat to you name it, a lot went on, and we will be back. We'll be here today to just break it down with you. If you have read the front page Africa newspaper, there's a lot to happen, and we'll be breaking some of those interesting information to you today. So it's good to see you. If you're just joining us, just make sure you share the video, share it, bro. Our man Henry is with us. Uh, uh, Miss T- Takida Kope. Sorry about that. Is watching live from Mombasa, Kenya. Uh, Welcome, Miss Cooper and Ruth Wengba. Welcome, Ruth. We apologize for not having a show, but we want to be on. Uh, Otaka Kahu, watching from Maryland. Welcome, Otaka. Thank you. And to everyone, thank you for joining the Closing Acumen on this Monday edition. If you are on, just click the share button. Just share it. Let's keep it going. The crew will be joining us soon. But before then, Henry, tell me what's been going on in Monrovia, man. What's going on today? Henry, can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Peabody. I'm happy again to be here. Like you were saying, we sincerely apologize to our followers for that coming on Friday. Friday, which having to be the start of the weekend. We're not here. I guess they were expecting us. Yes, and we're playing hosting. Oh, we even had a guest. Yeah, but like you said, we sincerely apologize for not coming through. But we are glad again to be here today. Like you, like you have said, too many things to talk about unfolding in country, those happenings, and that's what the closing argument is here for. But to the point, as you may be aware earlier on, uh, not earlier, but in the month of December, right after the Christmas, which on the 26th, we had a very terrible situation in Liberia here, but the tank got exposure there in Bonka to the time. I've been able to do my own assessment, my own follow up. Like yes, over the weekend, I was in Bon County. I went Bon County. Yes, one thing I observed keenly was the quietness. Yeah, the county is quiet. I mean, very, very quiet, because of that incident. But let me say many thanks to those organizations that have been playing their part, carrying some assorted and not assorted materials for those for some of those injured individuals. Yes, I visited the scene. I saw a lot of people there, always carrying donation, funders, and so forth. So waking up this morning, early this morning, we got the news that the transport ministry was on fire, a gutted fire, and for what reason, we are yet to get the actual cause of the fire. But it gutted fire this morning, and then a team from the Labrador Fire Service, they were there making sure that they seized down the fire. And then just before that, on Sunday, Honorable Yakia Koduba had a press conference. And it was so I don't know. He was like lashing at the Union Party government, telling them that what it mean by managing your expectation. That's not the so-called purpose for which they were elected as early as it is. They are telling people to manage their expectations. As for him, he's not here for that. He's always in the interest of the Liberian people. Liberian people voted them to bring the change, but not to tell them say they should manage their expectation. So with that, if that the way they want to go, no, he will not take it. Well, then he will go guata with them because he stands for the Liberian people and he always speak in the interest of the Liberian people. That was in the voice of Yeke Koruba. That was on Sunday when he had a press conference at his residence in District 10. So, Chairman Ben, welcome.
Well, thank you, Henry. It's good to see you. Both Henrys. I had to come and
Yeah, it's my namesake. Yeah.
I had to come and force myself in between the two Henrys because I didn't want you to take over we didn't want it to be the Henry argument. So, but it's good to see you, my brother. It's good to see you, Peabody. It's good to see all of you, and thank you. Look forward to a fascinating conversation today on the issues trending in our country. Like you rightly say, Henry, a lot is going on. And what I find fascinating is how we're getting ready to start this cycle all over again. It's about to start all over again. I really thought we would have gotten a little breather, right, Peabody? I seriously, I really thought we would have gotten a little breather. People were going to take some time off, calm things down. But this is not what I'm hearing. This is not what I'm hearing. I'm speaking to folks from different facets of our democracy and our dispensation. People who have been elected, senators, representatives. They have no plans of toning this thing down. In their mindset, there's even more reason why we should be a lot more vigorous in our approach on how we engage and when we deal with the issues of the country. I think Yeke kicked the ball rolling a couple of days ago, a day or two ago. A very interesting press conference. I'm sure we'll have a chance to sink our teeth into that. Then there is the Front Page Africa story with the potential picks. Something that jumped out in my mind is where is the change? Change is not only a slogan. Change should be practical, right? When you run
Mm.
as a candidate of change, I mean, I argue that the Unity Party was not the party for change, but our argument did not win. So so we accept it. We accept the will of the Liberian people. It's democracy, right? But with that being said, look, I look forward to a great discussion today. It's going to be very, very interesting. We're going to give our opinions. Let's state for the record, our opinions are our opinions. Some of them, we try our best to do as much research as we can to be able to give our expert opinion on some of these issues. And what we try to do here is to be a little different. We don't peddle
Mm.
in gossips. We don't peddle in the conspiracy theories. We don't. We're not here for the gotcha moment. We're not trying to set anybody up. That's not what we intend to do. What we intend to do is to kind of give a firm, balanced view of how things are. Yes, we all have our political alignments and arrangements, but we love our country first and we want to see our country do well. But yeah, it's good to be here. It's good to see you, Henry. How's the town? You guys keep. Hopefully, you may be seeing me very soon. We're not going to announce the our when we're going to be making some moves, but we look forward to having a very, very important and fascinating show today.
Well, yes, gentlemen, man, it's good to be here on this Monday edition. Let me just put this announcement. By the way, let me thank Winfred Russell. Hopefully, he's going to join us today as well. But he made a donation towards the energy meeting we're going to have tomorrow. The energy show tomorrow. We're going to have some top expert from the energy sector in the U.S. We're going to have Mr. Well, I'm going to tell you the name later. He's going to be joining us. Mr. Kenneth Phillips. He's going to join us tomorrow with some other folks as we talk about energy and how Liberia can benefit from the energy sector in America and other places. What kind of energy we need in that country. Also want to thank Makam Shala Randall for her gift as well towards that program tomorrow. So we're looking forward to have a great show tomorrow, especially when it comes to the energy sector. Talking about the energy sector, but I mean, a lot been happening. Like you said, Chairman Ben, the front page Africa. Who's uh, on the list to become the next minister or the next director. Honorable Keff Hassan, good to see you. Who's going to be the next director? Who's who? And we're seeing a lot of familiar names. Some, you know, uh, I don't know whether they can actually be rescued because we see. I always say the recycling bin. It's coming to light. The recycling bin. I've seen a lot of recycle. Hopefully not. Hopefully we'll be making a mistake. But I mean, from what I'm saying, I mean, it's like the recycle bin. A lot of them are coming back. Folks are just eager to get back into golf, man. I mean, what possibly more is that some people just can't live or working in government. I mean, I don't know. So just cannot survive. Even you send them to the best part of the world to live, they just can't survive of working in the Liberian government. And that was sad. It's very, very sad. But I wait and see the recycling bin. But there was also fire this morning. I saw at the transport ministry. I think Winfred will be here to talk about it because we are really struggling when it comes to fire safety in our country. Our fire services is not fully at the capacity to really handle major fire in our country. Winfred was the former councilman in Minnesota, and he helped Liberia get some of our fire servicemen trained. Was able to get part of fire trucks and things to that country. So Winfred will be here. He's a perfect guy, perfect candidate for me. I'll say for a city mayor like Liberia, put a man like that who knows about the urban development, knows about what the urban city needs, city planning, all of that. your own Liberian, bring in somebody who will be able to help us already have the connection. But anyway, I'm just saying something here. Well, Kev, welcome, man. Kev, go ahead.
Well, not much. I'm there, saying hi to you guys. Um, Another show today is to discuss about um, incoming minister or potential ministers in the GMB government, and we go over and see. Um, and some say a lot of old wine in new bottle. So we'll see, and we will go into the list, and then we see if that's the change they're talking about. But change could be relative. Anyway, that's
Yeah.
all. Oh yeah.
Well,
But
something good.
let folks share the show out there. Share the show.
Yeah.
Let's share the show. Out there.
Yeah. If you out there, let's share. Maybe we can recognize a few folks who have been before we
Yeah,
start.
yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. I know a lot of people have been asking. They gotta be. Please share the show. In addition to sharing the show, share the page with the folks. A lot of people have been asking if we are back on. Um, I think it's important that you share the information out there with your folks because a lot of people have been asking. How is it hard? It's so hard for us to find you. It's so hard for us to find you. I mean, outside of me saying, search for the closing argument. There's nothing else I can.
I think if we share also too,
Mhm,
they will
mhm.
get it from your page, Ben. Peabody, folks will get it. I think we have to keep sharing it. They will get it from you guys' page also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another thing we can do is to, if you log in on, go to, if you log in from your Facebook page, go to Closing Acumen Live. Closing Acumen Live, and then you will get us. Simple. The, the Closing Acumen Live, you can subscribe. By the time we come on, you'll be right there. The Closing Acumen Live. Go and click on Closing Acumen Live, and
But
then you'll be.
let me ask you guys a question to you, Ben. Uh, what you made of Yeke press conference yesterday?
Why are you trying to get me in trouble so early? Um, Look, let me. I've tried so hard to. My intention is to be as objective as I can be, right? But let's be frank. Um, there was I, I don't know what folks who supported the Unity Party expected. I'm asking, and this is a very honest question, and I'm hoping I'm going to get to. I'm hoping to at some point get to speak with Yeke soon. I don't know what people expected, and a majority of the folks who, and let's be fair, look, they haven't taken office yet, but I know there are certain expectations. People have different expectations. I thought his press conference was very interesting. It was very intriguing. It was very, very interesting because at the end of the day, I think people, uh, Yeke has figured out something, and I intend to be very brutally honest. Right, the society that we have, let's be very frank and transparent. We have an opposition-driven kind of politics. Let's be fair. If you are in opposition, the thing about Liberians, the thing we do well in Liberia and about Liberians, we are always looking for the next hero. We're always looking for the next person, for someone to come and save us. We never own up to our shortcomings. If something is wrong in the country, it's always somebody else's fault. Or if it's this president's fault, or if this leader's fault. Don't get me wrong, leadership comes with responsibility, guys. But there have to come a time in our politics. People are asking for the YouTube channel too. So if the studio can please type it and put it up, it will be good. People are asking for the YouTube channel, just for the record. Um, we must come to a time in our country where we, the people, must start to own up to some of the decisions that we've made. I consistently maintain, and I've always said that Vice President-elect Joe Boakai and the Unity Party did not represent change. If you were in 2023 for change, you wanted change, you probably would have supported Cummings or somebody else, right? If you didn't want we are. The notion that you would support a political party that was in power for 12 years, a man who was the vice president for those 12 years, and expect that he's not going to bring back the people that he's comfortable with, the people that he worked with, there's something is really wrong with we as a people. Then the game is not on the politics. The game is actually on the people. So I will consistently say this. I listened to Yeke. He raised some very, 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 very serious issues, some fundamental things, and I think is well within his right to raise it as a member of the national legislature and as somebody who supported and fought hard to bring this government to power. I think he had the right to raise those issues. But I will say this. It's going to be a very, 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 very bumpy ride. I think we all should brace ourselves. I'm waiting to see how President-elect Boakai manages his coalition. He has a very, very, very deep coalition that came together to bring him to power. I'm waiting to see how he managed that coalition. There's only so many cabinet posts. There's only so many director generals and managing directors. There will come a time where within the next 3 or 4 months, the appointments will have to come to an end. And then we got to get to real governance. The folks who were pontificating that their support was for the country and they were patriots, and those of us who didn't support the Unity Party were not patriots. I like to always end with this. There should be no reason why you should be complaining or sending little pot shots here and there. If you don't make the list, if you don't make the cut this time, I think you should work with whoever the president-elect appoints in his government and support the government. Because remember, you did not get into this political struggle because you wanted jobs. You did it because we are spoiling the country. Those of us who supported we are were only doing it for money and for our stomach. And so your argument won. So you must now live with the decisions that you've made. And we hope and pray. And those of us now who didn't support Joe Boakai, we will give him the benefit of the doubt. We will then say to you now, we agree. This is the man that we should give the opportunity to fix the country. But I think a Yeke press conference was very interesting. Very, very interesting, very fiery. And I look forward to seeing. I hear he said he's going to have another press conference on what's the thing name? On Thursday, if the president-elect doesn't declare where he got the 50-something thousand from. We wait to hear what Yeke will say, because Yeke is entitled to his opinions and he should have a voice in our country.
You know, Ben, you just put it out there. Because especially when it comes to the coalition, you know, there are some parties like the MDR. I don't know what other coalition was there. These guys have been promised slots in the government, and they have to bring their own people, as I'm aware, and recommend them for the slot that they were promised. how do you deal with a man who probably worked in the government before, s- stole a lot of money, and to come back only because he's coming on another party's slot? So there's nothing wrong with that as long as he comes back on another party's slot to come and take over another position. I think it's going to be quite challenging because uh, Joe Walker, president like, ran on that mantra that he would ensure that whoever come to government will be corruption free. He was presented as one who worked in government, very clean, very, no corrupt. There's no, record of him being corrupt and anything like that. But Yeke said, well, what did he get $50,000 from? I mean, 50,000 US dollar. I mean, of course, hopefully, probably people were giving gift, but these are the kind of things that we're looking at, and people are also looking at some of his key family members that may probably be appointed to different positions in government. So I think the Liberian people are watching. As I said, it's too early. Give them 90 days uh, to 120 days before I will criticize. But from what I'm seeing and the names that are circulating out there, it's a bit disappointing. I've heard that it's becoming a mess. It's becoming a mess. People are running all over the place now for jobs and things like that. It's becoming a mess because people thought that they ran the campaign, it's like some personal entitlement that it should be given certain jobs and things like that, and it's becoming really sad. But I hope we can dive into the Front Page Africa
Yeah.
newspaper, and then also the Senate. I mean the star confirmation of Musadin and the ju- judiciary, I mean the Supreme Court. What is their take? Nothing on her today. Whether they did anything or they came out with any ruling, is it a tactic to delay this? What are they on? What are they doing?
Did they even have the hearing, the conference today?
I didn't.
Are we aware?
I didn't hear anything. I didn't hear anything.
I think it's tomorrow, though. I think
Oh, tomorrow? The
I thought it said
9th?
January 8th.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
I thought the citation said January 8th.
I'm hearing tomorrow, so I don't know how true is it.
So they postponed it because the citation that I saw said January 8th.
Yeah,
So they postponed it. But look, I think on the issue of these appointments, I think that train has left the station. I think the CDC, the we administration, got outmaneuvered here, and this comes with it's kind of like the consequences of losing power, right? I think they got outmaneuvered here. But I still think there was a lot of things that he could have done. The president, the current president, but in the end, like I said, hey, it is what it is. But I think the train has left the station because, from my understanding, the legislature is supposed to be closing tomorrow, except the president is going to do an extension. And how long is that extension going to go for? That extension is going to go for probably only because, mind you, the 55th is taking seat on next Monday. The 55th will be taking seat next Monday. That's the day that they're going to be electing the new speaker and the new pro tem. So the 55th will be taking seat on next Monday. But I think the train has left the station. I don't see how this thing can be salvaged or salvaging any kind of way form. I'll be surprised if it is. You never know what could happen between the next 24 hours. I don't know, but yeah, but I think they got outmaneuvered here. I think the president elect is flexing his muscles. He's doing what he's using the political capital that he has as incoming government, and so guess what? It is politics. I just saw a story. Saw some information that he has called for a meeting, a general meeting of all the members of the House of Representatives. He's trying to lobby for his choice for speaker. He's flexing his muscle. Let's wait and see how this thing plays out. I still think Funati Kofa has it. But the president-elect is doing what he got to do from his standpoint to see what happens. But on the issue of Musa Dean and Samora, I'm not sure what where any traction was going to happen, because I just think the time is just too short. Those are just my thoughts.
Yeah, you're correct, Ben. But you never know what will happen tomorrow. Anything can happen. If they want to do it, they can do it tomorrow. Hearing can happen in the morning, ruling take place, and they do it. It's a matter of 1 hour, 2 hours. They can do it, but at this moment, it don't seem like it. It don't seem like it. So, but let's see what will happen tomorrow. Anything can happen in Liberia, but let's see what will happen tomorrow. I'm hearing late drama, but hey, I don't know if I can put my money on it. But I'm hearing late drama though.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, good. Lofa, welcome, man, and Sylvester, good to see you. You got want to chime in with your introduction, so. Sylvester, Lofa, one of you guys. Come in, Sylvester. You muted. You need to unmute your.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Basically, yeah, we've been closely following. I just listened to Ben concluding not too long ago about the process of the speakership. I'm also getting some information that is taking a kind of a different trend as we move to Monday, the 15th, coming to the 15th of this month for the election. I'm getting information that Richard Nagbe Kun is making a lot of inroads. And then the incoming ruling establishment is pushing for Mr. Combs to take on the speakership. But the information coming in also is that Chairman Kofa and the current deputy speaker is also pushing to maintain his base, because the process about a speaker process in the Republic of Liberia is about, at this critical time, is about having a block. And I'm also getting information that Mr. Kofa is trying to maintain his block and keep it in a particular campaign zone, so that they cannot be, if I would put it this way, contaminated or probably manipulated to vote against him. Because before a week ago, or between 5 days to a week ago, it was all a bingo for Mr. Kofa that the speakership was in sight. The last time I saw Ben was in a very euphoric mood when he even did a brilliant
I'm still
analysis.
in that mood. Trust me, I'm still in that mood. I don't think they're gonna win.
But I think it is dwindling a little bit. And aspect what we are looking at is, I know you are a man, you stand to be a political person, but behind the scene, and I know behind the scene there have been some serious lobbying activities by the incoming ruling establishment to ensure that Richard Nambe Kun is the next speaker. And what I've heard is that they even asking Mr. Kofa to retain his post as deputy speaker. That have been some of the conversation now around the corner and what have you. Mr. Kofa is now pushing, and I'm inclined to believe that some of his major protege or his lieutenant in the House of Representatives currently, like people like Destin Sibo, these are strong representatives. They are all there ensuring that they push this. But I believe personally, and let me say this, that Mr. Kofa can be a very wonderful speaker and a balanced speaker. No one should ever countenance that Fonati Kofa will go to disrupt the activities of the incoming government. Nothing. He's not the kind of a person I have known over the years. He's someone that bridges between all sides. So he's one of those that we can hope on that so the guys from the United Party should not come with the mindset that Mr. Kofa is coming with the tendency to disrupt the process. Absolutely no. So we observing this process very keenly, and I believe that from the angle of names that are currently triggering from all sides of our political divide. Now, listen, if we will have to go by what newspapers are reporting, and that's what I say, it will just basically be a kind of a recycling type of process that we want to see that's going to be unfolding. But yes, I would want to think that wish the incoming government well, but with the kind of an issue, I listened to Yeke Kuruba briefly last night. I think it's something concerning because he's an insider. And someone would say when Professor Alari Topa taught us the process of the Adigiri of the cave, It reminded me of that process. It's like someone will come from the cave and then is saying to you. So I mean, Yeka is coming up. He knew so those kind of incendiary comments, very belligerent in his activities. He did that for the past 6 years, and it was not new to me. I'm now a fan of listening to him, but again, it's concerning that if an insider will be saying those kind of a thing, it's a little concerning to all of us. So, but I think it's very key at this critical juncture of our politics that we move to see who will be the next speaker and the next president pro tem of the Liberation. It's a critical thing. But I still maintain here, I do not have a voting right, but I still maintain that I think Fonati Kofa can be a very good and wonderful speaker. He will seek the interest of the country, and we as people should move to talk to those of our colleagues and our friends and our representatives that this is the man that we believe that can. But I believe Fonati is a fighter, so he's fighting. I'm hearing there's a campaign situation coming up soon, probably around somewhere, I think. But there's this invisible forces that are trooping in to disrupt and dismantle his camp, and something he needs to take very seriously.
Wow, that's Lofa. Lofa, go ahead. That's interesting. Something kicking up. Go ahead, Lofa.
Yeah, guys. Good evening. Great to be back on here. Yeah, not to kind of backpedal here on the discussion, but I think let me just kind of highlight Yeke Koluba's recent interview, and I think that is something that we all should be really concerned about. There were some shocking revelations that were made in that interview, and I don't think we should simply just brush it off because it is Yeke Koluba or because of his idea way of deliberating on issues. Okay, we may not agree with the utterances, but we cannot dismiss some of the things that were said and some of those revelations that I think should be concerning to all of us and Liberian as a whole. Some of the things that he highlighted, the behavior, again, like you rightfully said, Sylvester, Yeka is an insider. He worked with these people, and he know their character. So when Yeke come up and say the Cone individual we are talking about, I get in he got 15-degree cum laude, something like that, and then he spoke of Fonati Kofa. It actually raises our brow. Okay, we should take these things into consideration when Yeke Koluba come out again and question the president elect. All right, his honesty, the issue of transparency, where Yeke is now telling us, okay, the president elect son is out here selling positions. We should be concerned about these things, and I don't think these are things that we should just talk about on the surface level. I think we should we should go into this conversation detailed so Liberians can understand why it is true that we were promised transparency. We were promised a government of integrity. Here, with 2 weeks to go in the entire process, members of the of the first family, they are now seen out there allegedly selling positions. I think we should be concerned. Are we going back to the days of Chucky Taylor? Okay. Are we going to go back to the days of Robert Salif? Okay. We complained about Robert Salif. All right. And all of the things that were done under the Madam Ellen Salif Johnson regime. And we are, again, gradually working our way back to those days when we have a young man who's the son of the president-elect, allegedly selling position or even intruding into the affairs. I think we should be concerned about these things. It should not simply be discussed on the surface level. We should discuss it detailed and give Liberians the opportunity to even chime in and give their views on these kind of things as to why should Honorable Boycott, even prior to his excellency, prior to him being inaugurated, engaging in these kind of behaviors. We knew these things. Some of us knew these things, like we said before. All right. President Boycott and President Weah was just 5 and 6. The only difference between the both would have been the age difference. But in governance, it won't have been much difference. But Honorable Boycott is because the same group of people who were in government before are coming back to government. And less than 2 weeks to go, we have already seen these things. And Yeke Koluba is bringing to us what is happening under the water. We are not there. We don't know what is happening on the water, but he's revealing to us, and we should take it very seriously. Honorable Boykai should address this concern. He's the man of transparency. He's the man with integrity. I think he should do the rightful thing, do due diligence, and reveal to Liberian the funds that are being used to donate to the people in Total. Where did the funds come from? Who provided the funds? And let us just be transparent as far. And another thing that I want to close on is the issue of asset declaration. What's this? The senator elect Amara Kone, he made a disclosure on one of his Facebook posts claiming that he would be the man of integrity and he would disclose his asset when it is declared. Today is the 8th, and according to sources, I think the declaration should have been done sometime last month. And we are still here. We are yet to hear or see Amara Conan declare his asset and disclose it to the public. But I think these are things that we need to discuss in detail, that the rescue train, as they claim, don't appear to be rescuing the nation thus far. I'll stop here for now.
Keff.
Quickly, Lofa, let me provide some information on that. The laws, how to call this? What's it? Date of the law. The law provide that the code of conduct provide that the time for the deadline is after 100 days. Deadline after 100 days, assuming office, right? You have to be football after 100 days. If one did not do that, then you're in violation of the code of conduct. So the issue of the declaration of the assets process is within the code of conduct, and it's about within that process. So even with those in the executive, we have to declare there's a period given to them under the instruction of the President of the Republic of Liberia. But with the legislature, there's a guideline governing them. So yeah, I don't think anyone is in violation of it yet as per the law. So we have to wait until they assume office and moving forward, and that is not done in violation of that.
Well, I mean, and I don't think I'm speaking in regards of them having to violate anything, but the precedent that we speak of, the issue of the issue of, yes, you're coming in with this new phase, this transform idea. So let us set the precedents. The like of Amarakane, who claimed to be the transparent one, should set that precedent and say, okay, you know what? This is not something that have been that happened before. This is not something that was done before. Let me be that guy, the sacrificial lamb, to do the first thing so others can follow my footstep. He shouldn't have to wait for the deadline to expire. That's what I'm just trying to highlight here. Because again, he's supposed to be the man of integrity, the man of transparency.
Kev, let's go to this.
Well, people have seen everybody in white.
From the
Is that anything I need to know?
Public, I don't know. It's something that we just came
I
out.
don't know what's coordinated.
Okay, because what's someone is saying to me, "Uno Sylvester not in white yet." So
no, the thing is, just a coincidence. Everybody just decided to wear, stuff. But Kev, let's go to the front page Africa article yesterday that came up. Where you talk about the familiar faces that was named that are coming up in the Boaga search team or the team that they want to put up, the new minister, the different names and stuff. What do you think about it? I hope we had a way to put it up. I got the article here, but maybe we just put it up where all those the different faces and things. But Kev, what you got to add there? Let's put it up later on. I can send it. Look, let me send it to you. You put it up.
Yeah, except that I'm not in the studio. I'm in the car, but here, hopefully, I had to pull over because I was getting late. But if you send it to me, hopefully I'll get off the show, drive. Once I get home, I'll come back on. If you want me to share that, I don't mind doing that.
How far are you from home?
Give me at least about 10 minutes.
Okay, I'll send it to you later, but we can still do the show, and then I can send it. When you get home, you can always do it. Yeah, but Kev, come in.
Today I woke up went on Facebook, and I saw a lot of people were talking about TB Joshua. I think that's his name, TB Joshua. And I said to myself, I said, "Ooh, let me watch this thing." And I watch it. What came to mind is Liberia. The mindset of people, the beliefs that people get, hypnotize them, to make them believe there is something. They make the people believe that GMB is the change. Like the way they make TB Joshua, the people see him as the guy, as the God, as the guy who can heal. They make the people believe that. So when you listen to people, our rescuer, this man will rescue us. Everything will be fine. Heaven and earth will open. Things will be falling down like manna from heaven. Things will be falling. Swimming pool will be all in everybody's backyard. TV station will be all over the country. No bad road. It's not happening. In the time they feel that it will happen. So when you see their potential cabinet pick, then people start saying, "Oh, you're bringing back the guys who has stand, the old guys You bringing back criminals." I told you, say you the change because of the TB Joshua mentality. Liberia don't want to face the difficult moments that we cause our country. They think things will happen overnight. They don't want to face a difficult moment. You fight war, you destroy your country, you have to face the difficult moment. After international people left, you're going to get a difficult country. And when you get a difficult country, you got to face it. Ghana went through that. Rwanda went through that. A lot of countries went through that. A lot of countries went through civil war. They went through that. Ghana had the Great Depression. You understand? But when people want to cut things short, they will have a TB Joshua leader. And I'm telling you, this GMB is a TB Joshua leader they're gonna get. Flash them, act like they're gonna heal them, but in the back, we see something totally different, and that's what's happening with the people saying, "Oh, this." I'm saying on Facebook, this other person talking about evil. This other person, Dylan and Padre is going back at it, talking about evil. This talking about recklessness. The arguments and the bitterness in the back gonna come out, and people gonna realize that you voted for TB Joshua.
So that back and forth we're looking at is Dylan and Quade, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, but let me say this. I don't think we should look. I don't think we should play into Dylan and Pade's post. I jokingly somebody sent me the screenshot of the post, and I said, I don't think it's not a big deal. I think the UP Alliance have a lot of great philosophers. That's how I'm going to see it, right? They are just putting these things out there. Look, let's call a spade, and I mean, I was just saying to Kev Hassan using the analogy of TB Joshua. Look, I don't think I think the Liberian people, or again, I hate to say this Liberian people thing because the country is evenly divided, right? Less than 1%, or at least 1%, or less than 1% of the voters decided that they wanted, the registered voters decided that they wanted the Unity Party to take power. What I think is happening here is hello. Oh, okay. I think
Lofa, mute yourself. Mute yourself.
Okay. So I think what's happening here is a classic case of look, we this is what Liberians do well, right? This is what we do well. We make decisions. We sometimes don't take into consideration the consequences of those decisions. And this is not to cast any aspiration on the incoming government because they haven't taken power yet. But there are certain early signs that looks a little troubling. And I think that's why you saw somebody like Yeke coming out in the way he came out, the way he came out gun blazing. Let's even look at the issue of the inaugural budget. I saw somebody post that they brought the budget down from we had 900,000. They brought it down to 650,000. Look, I don't know what we budget was. I don't remember. So I'm not going to say it was 900,000 or it was even more or it was less. But I know right now what the budget, what the inaugural committee submitted to the Liberian government. Mind you, this is the hypocrisy of my friends in the Unity Party that I don't like. They are making it appear like this 650,000 budget was a budget that was given to them by the Liberian government. They are submitting this budget to the Liberian government. So what are you talking about? Like, how? Okay, what was your measuring stick 900,000? Was it because we had 900? Let's just say, let's give a fact that we had 900,000. Was that your measuring stick? What is it? Remember, the Unity Party said they were coming to bring change, to bring transparency. The WIA administration was shredded in a lot of privacy, that we didn't know what was going on. They even at one point in time there was all this talk about all the different things. Look, if the Unity Party, if the president-elect, right, just look around and see what is happening today. If you see some of the trends that are happening, when you look at the front page list, which we're going to get into, this is not going to be anything different from what we're used to seeing. Now, there may be a little slighting of governance, the way how the governance style may be. But for anybody to sit here and think that something significant is about to change, I'm sorry to bust your bubble. That is not going to happen. And in 3 to 2 months, you're going to see a lot of people going to start complaining. The only reason many people right now are not even saying the things that they are supposed to be, the things that they really want to say, is because they're still waiting to see what those appointments will look like. But I can tell you, knowing President-elect Joe Buckeye, he will do what he wants to do. He will make the determination. He will put the people he want to put in government, and you will have to live with the consequences, or you will have to live with those people, and those people will be your officials. Again, like I said before, Liberians love to find heroes. We love to find heroes. We like to find people. We don't like to take up our own fight. We're very quick to point to somebody to say, oh, the person that a hero and the person talking on behalf of us. So I'm just watching and seeing how it's going to turn out, and let's wait and see how it all plays out. I think Tomalin can come in, right?
But Tomalin, I beg you, my brother, let me take just 10 seconds. In that budget you're talking about, first of all, you're talking about the size. They are doing this at the Capitol building, outside the Capitol building, the parking lot, the bill stage, they're doing it there. They're not doing it on SKD, not a large crowd. Under this government, you have presidents then coming in. A lot of presidents came in. 51 jet came in. A lot of guests came in. It was heavy. But this one, smaller guests coming in, and they're going right there at the Capitol building, outside the Capitol building. They're not doing it in the bigger space. They're doing it at the parking lot in the Capitol building. That's out there, the build a stage. That's where they're going to do it. So don't compare the price. That is two different locations, two different crowd size, two different amount of guests. It's different. So you can. I just want to add that on before Tomalin comes in.
Tomalin, go ahead.
Guys, it's good to be back, man. Guys, it's one of the coldest days, in this winter, though. It's very cold. So, but anyway, it's good to be back. I happened to have talked to Yeke yesterday, and in fact, a few minutes ago too. But he's not ready. He said he's not prepared to come right now. But so forth. But the issue about Yeke press conference yesterday, we should understand that as the government about to get inaugurated, there will be problems. I mean, I already foresee problems coming. We do not wish for it. I pray that the government succeed. I pray that they do their best, but we see the problems that will come already. It's why when you have an election and you get people promise a lot of promises for people, especially endorsements and so forth. When it's time to govern, it's time to come back to haunt you. But I tell you this though, the president-elect, he has nothing to lose because I don't think Boakai will run for a second term. And Boakai will do what he, like Ben said, what he wants to do. He will govern the way he wants to govern. The problem is his inner cycle, whether they will accept it or not. I'm sure they will resist it. And like right now, I was talking to one of his strong men, Malu, and I said, your ideas are great. You got great ideas. You come up with a lot of stuff, but I can tell you, you'll be resisted. The people in his inner circle resist it because you want to do radical change, and whatever the case, and they won't allow it to happen, and so forth. So, in a few more days, today is the 8th. In the next 12, let's see, the next 14 days, 2 weeks from now, we have the inauguration, and things will get going. And we just got to be alert and mindful because we will be there to report what's happening and to critically and analyze everyone. Like I told people, President George, he came at a time where the age of information was expanded. He was the most attacked, most insulted, criticized, and everything. He didn't spare him. He went through everything, and as a result, but he was able to withstand it. And he didn't grab people and put them in jail. He didn't ban people from talking. But we'll see what happens in the next coming days, and we look forward to seeing that. But I'm happy that we'll be discussing these potential boycott cabinet picks. And make no mistake, majority of these people that are on front page Africa research, they will be in the government. And I want to commend my brother Rodney Sear for doing a very good job. He took his time and researched well and did a lot of interesting work on these people's names. And yes, we will criticize. We will scrutinize these names because we're talking about a change, talking about a country that's about to be rescued. We want a country to be rescued, and rescuing the country, make sure to put the right people there. And we will jealously guide the conversation and the narrative. We'll see what happens, but we are going to see what happens. We are going to be engaged with this process. So as we wait to discuss these issues, we're just going to wait and see what happens. But again, just another some of the quick announcement. I think will be, as I said, we will have people already up now. You already see what happening now. Okay, let me just before I end. You see, Peewee, the president-elect is calling for a meeting now. Apparently, he realized that the legislature, especially the majority bloc of the House,
yes,
will eventually fall to the CDC, to the main opposition party. So he tried to consider it. And that meeting he's calling tonight, whatever the case, it should signal to the lawmakers there, especially the CDC lawmakers and independent candidates, the lawmakers, that they should fight to ensure that they get the Senate. But if they just give up, throw their hands up and surrender the Senate, they'll come to pay a heavy price.
Absolutely.
Boakai is an experienced politician. He called a meeting for a lot of reasons. Boakai knows that he has an agenda and he needs both houses. So I just hope the majority bloc will maintain that support to Fonati Kofa, who's most likely to become the next speaker. They may hold a bloc to support to him, and nobody should flip because anything can happen from now to the 22nd. I mean, the 15th of this month.
Front Page Africa is asking these questions. Amalgamating influence.
So let me say something. Let's welcome Kelabo Gonglo first before we say I know Peabody is hosting, but he was off a little bit. So we welcome our big brother Kelabo Gonglo to the to the closing argument. Let me say something on the speaker thing. I just got a text message from somebody highly placed source in the Kofa camp. I can speak, and I've been instructed to speak with all of the force.
With certainty.
Right? Because they heard you questioning my exuberance that I had the last time.
No, I didn't question. I was panic.
Well, no. You said the last time you saw me, I was very, So
exactly.
So I just received the text message and said, Ben, you can even be overly confident. Right?
So yeah, we are waking you.
We are waking you. Let me state for the record, they have 41 solid. 40 as of today, they are 41 solid. There are 6 undercover, meaning 6 in the other camp. I can let it there, right?
47.
So, and yes, over the last 2 days, over the last couple of days, there's been a lot of maneuvering. They lost 2, right? But they've gained 5. They've gained 5. You remember? You also know they gained Yeke. Remember, Yeke was very clear. Yeke stated clearly that he's supporting Kofa in this speaker race. So look. Listen, I think what the president-elect is doing is and let me tell you what I think is happening here. He's being pressured to do this. I think the president-elect, he's doing what he got to do because I think his people just don't want it to come across as he's throwing in the towel or he's not making these calls, right? I also know that there's been some substantive conversations that have been held. I know for sure. Listen, I know that there's been a lot of these conversations happening in the back. And what is eventually going to happen, I think what the president-elect is really concerned about is that Kofa is not going to be an obstructionist. I think that's at the end of the day, what is going to be. And it's not in Kofa's interest to be an obstructionist either, right? Whether you like it or not, the executive is very powerful. But that doesn't mean that that don't mean that he's not going to be able to lead a house that will perform rigorous oversight on the executive, Being an obstructionist is totally different from being a rubber stamp, house, and from carrying out your oversight responsibility. What I do know he will do is he will lead a very, very robust House of Representatives that is going to do things not business as usual, taking into consideration being cognizant of the fact that he is from the opposition. He's a speaker from the opposition, but it's not going to be an intention to say, oh, he's going to obstruct. And mind you, whether they like it or not, Kofa has been building this block for the last 6 years. You remember Kofa was running for speaker in 2017. He stepped aside because of his party. A party made a deal with the very Unity Party to say, you know what, you take the speaker, we take the deputy speaker. So Kofa, I don't have a lot of concerns about Kofa, but I do agree with what Tomalin said on the issue of the Senate. That I think is the watershed and the tricky moment there. Because what will happen in the Senate, I don't think either one of those candidates from the Senate race, whether Bezonga or Yombi, because those are the 2 names that are out there right now. And interestingly, it's Grand Bassa County that is duking it out to become the Senate, the Senate pro tem, right? The 2 senators from Grand Bassa County are the ones who are going to be competing against each other to become a pro tem of the Senate. I don't think it's in the bag for either one of them yet. For a moment in the past, I thought Yombi had it going, but from the information I have been receiving is that there's been a lot of movements here and there also because of some of the same things that Tomalin just highlighted. So let's watch and see. But I can confirm with strong emphasis that the Kofa block is 41 solid, 6 undercover in the last 48 to 72 hours. They've been able to gain 3 extra representatives. Excellent. And there's also another twist that I'm not privy to discuss when it comes to the deputy speaker election. But there's a lot of things that's going to unfold on January 15th. And people, you know this more than I do. Once they get on that floor, some of the names, you remember in 2011, Eugene Falakpaka was supposed to be deputy speaker. When we got on the floor, that whole thing changed. Mm-hmm. I read for
but you're right. And I guess
so Ben, the 6 undercover, are they on espionage mission in the Unity Party?
Yes, I can confirm that they are on espionage mission. And I was told, because I asked specifically in the test, I said, can I say 6 undercover?
I like that espionage. I like that
undercover. They are on espionage mission. That's how come the Kofa team knows exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
If you notice, you saw that text message that Mo Ali sent out. How did the Kofa team get that text message?
Yeah, it says, and then I was just on the phone with one of the Gion stenographer in the House of Representatives. He said to me, hey, my dear brother, this issue is not about Kofa. what he did over the year, he built what we refer to as chemistry with his colleagues.
Mhm.
So just for the guys to dethrone him at this time, he said he don't see that coming. That's one of the genius stenographers saying that to me at the level of the. So I mean, this is going to be a difficult. I understand the way as you're right. They will have to do some work around this thing, but I think this is a deal already through the line, and we just have to wait for the 15th of. And I like what Mr. Gongolo said just now. If they are deployed as a special espionage agent, right, on a particular mission, but again, that is part of the legislative body politics of our country. It can be very
Mr.
bizarre.
Gongo,
Yeah.
let's bring Mr. Gongo in,
Yeah,
then
yeah.
we'll go back to the
I just
cabinet
wanted to say
speak.
this quick. I listened to before I joined the show. I listened to Mr. Peabody. He was talking about what Boakai promise was. I didn't listen to Boakai throughout the campaign. He didn't make those promises that Mr. Peabody was talking about. I think his supporters were saying those things. Me and Henry Costa put a lot of words in Boakai's mouth that he didn't say out loud himself. But when I read the front page Africa article, I said to myself, what I'm seeing here is we have the same players for the past 18 years, just dressed in different jerseys with different numbers. That's all. So it's not a change. If you want to have a change, you need to have a new players with new mindset, with new thinking about solving the problems. You have the same old guys with the same mindset on how to solve the same problem that in some instances they have helped to create also. Okay, so I don't see a change. I wait for Honorable Boakai to convince me when he takes power that he's going to be a changed person. But I don't see it because you know what? On the $30,000 issue, when the legislature allocated $30,000 for themselves and took it, Spoon TV, I believe you guys are still on Spoon. Spoon did an interview with Boakai.
Yeah.
His reaction was, if that money was allocated, if you were budgeted for it, you didn't have problem with it.
No problem. Yeah, I
That
remember
was,
that.
and for me, the reason he gave that answer was because under the Unity Party government, senators were taking $68,000 for every budget as towards a pet a project.
Yeah.
How did I get to know this? I didn't read the budget. During the 2020 election, Senator Thomas Groupie of Nimba County, the former senator, he and Prince Johnson were having disagreement in the studio. And he revealed, he asked on the Nimba people, he asked Senator Johnson, every budget will get $68,000. I have built schools, bridges in some community with my money. You are asking Senator Johnson what he has done with his money. So the former Senator Groupie revealed how much you were getting in the budget. So that's how I got to know. So they were getting even more money under the watch of Joseph Boakai. So now when they asked him about the $30,000, it was like a drop in the bucket because he knew they were getting more than that. That's why he said, if you were in the budget, you didn't have a problem with that. Because if you had a problem, people would have gone in the budget and said, well, hey, when you were vice president, these were the things that were happening. Why you didn't have a problem there? That's why he gave that answer.
Well, there's a lot happening in Liberia. Let's go back to that. I think look, I just want to add that Representative Kofat did his groundwork probably before coming into this on the other senator in the past. I think he did the groundwork. He built that coalition, with those folks. And I think it's just but I understand that VP Boakai and somehow have spoken to Mr. Kofa, and they have pledged to work together. So why last minute you're trying to bring in different groups and things like that? So we'll see who really have the support. But if the CDC is still in the majority, there should not be a problem. They should take that house. I don't think there should be any problem with them taking that house. That would be a great thing. It will benefit the party as well. But let's go back to the name, Tomalin. Let's go back to the names that are circulating out there. I call it the recycling bin. The recycling bin that have ruled Liberia That's the only name that exists when it comes to government, governance in Liberia. That's the only name we have seen. Those names have been around. They work in every government, or some they just take a break, retirement for a couple of years, and they come right back. So let's talk about the names. Some of the names that the potential names that are out there that you show, or you want to name them and talk about it. Yeah, this is the Front Page Africa edition published yesterday. I think on Saturday. These are the names: potential recycling bin. Tell me, talk about it.
Yeah, for
Everybody?
foreign affairs.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I was just trying to say quickly that the faces are not identified, but the names are not there, but we can identify some of the faces. Yeah, go ahead, Tumani. That's what
Yeah, for foreign affairs, you got Sarah Beslo Yanti, you got Augustine Ingafwan, you got Elias Shonihan, and you got I think Augustine Jarrett, and
no,
also
Dr. Augustine Kone.
It's Jarrett.
Okay, go ahead.
I see Jarrett. You know Jarrett.
What you see?
Yes, Jarrett. Augustine
Yeah,
Jarrett.
it's Rabbi Dr. Augustine Kone. But go ahead.
And also the guy Ambassador George Patton. Now, I will say this. First of all, the Department Minister of Foreign Affairs. Many people don't know about this guy, D. Maxwell Kemian. Kemian, right now, whoever becomes the new Minister of Foreign Affairs will be coming to an office or building that modernized. Minister Kemian on his own went out and solicited assistance for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Not in the government budget, from the Saudi government and the Moroccan government. When I was in Liberia, my colleagues and I, we did a tour of the entire Ministry of Foreign Affairs. They were led by the President, Deputy Minister, Mrs. Comfort Sawyer. And it's being modernized. Everything have a own computer section. I mean, when you enter the foreign ministry by next year or middle part of this year, you won't believe you are Liberia Foreign Ministry. It will be modernized. I'm sorry, after he secured the funds for that ministry, he won't be the one to enjoy it. But as he said, Tomalin is government's continuity, which I agree. But he's leaving a very, very modernized Minister of Foreign Affairs. He's doing between Sarah Beslo Yanti, Gustin Gafon,
you said there was a group of PRA just now.
Elias Shonian, and Jared, right?
No, but he's doing a good job. We saw it. We did look at it.
Yeah.
So these people, okay, with Madam Beslo, I know her very well. She's a big sister to me. We all from the Firestone era. But she served prior to leaving for the United Nations. She worked at the Ministry of Health and Social Welfare. I think it was during the Taylor administration with Dr. Peter Coleman as minister. And then she went on to serve with the United Nations, where she went very high in rank at the United Nations. Her last mission was in Sudan, where she retired from the UN. She comes there with experience in the UN setting, diplomatic-wise, like in other countries, like in the diplomacy era, we don't know. But again, she's someone who, if she's appointed for to this position, I think she brings a lot to the table. She's qualified, and I think she'll be ready to perform the one. Augustine Ngafwan, he's no stranger to this job. I know him from his days at University of Liberia. A very smart young man. He presently works in, I think, Uganda, right, with the World Bank or something like that. And
African Development Bank.
African Development Bank in Uganda, and he served Madam Salis, a foreign minister and finance minister, respectively. And then he's someone who been in the position before. And Elias Shonihan, he was deputy when President Weah took over. He was deputy minister for foreign affairs, but his term was short-lived in the Weah administration. So he didn't survive it.
No, but quickly to add on, before that, he was acting minister of foreign affairs for 9 months under Madam Edin Johnny Salif, and deputy minister for international cooperation at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs also.
Yeah, so Elias Shonihan too, he's somebody who would do well in this position.
Yes.
I don't know that Augustine Jarrett. I see Jarrett. You get Augustine Jarrett. So Augustine Jarrett, someone who headed Madam Salif economic management team, and I don't know whether he has any foreign service experience. But besides working with the World Bank and the European Union, African and USAID. George Patton, he's the former Liberian ambassador to America with concurrent accreditations to Mexico and Canada. He just left that position, relieved of that position by President Weah. So for foreign ministry, President-elect Bouaga, he picks any of these people he was elect. I think they will do him well. They will serve him well in that position. Again, he will need a lot to go in the foreign service to make a lot of, especially to consolidate his foreign service, Liberal foreign service credential. And as soon as he's inaugurated, he has a trip coming in February. The first trip will be the African Union. He'll be the first to be attending the African Union trip, and the person who will be foreign minister will be accompanying on that trip. And that's why you notice that either on the eve of his inauguration or on inauguration night, he will make the appointment quickly, because immediately after the inauguration, he'll be leaving the country soon. So with his foreign ministry pick, I can stop there so the other guys can talk about.
But before I go to the other guy,
yeah,
why are some of these old names recycling? Folks who have worked in government over 12.
That's small country, man. That's small country.
Yeah, listen.
For me, when you say, since you came up to Sylvester, since you saying it, so no other trained Liberian. These are the only trained educated Liberian they have. Why you keep bringing the same old people?
But that's what I'm saying here, right? So if you were to go through the process, listen, the governance process in.
I think we should.
Hold on, Kev.
Yeah, you guys are talking. I think we should go around. Sylvester.
Kev, you're not. Kev, listen here. You are not the moderator, Kev. Let the moderator take control of the show, please. He just asked me to do so. You're not the moderator. Don't be doing this.
So other people are here.
Yeah, I mean, he asked me.
Kev.
Yes, Kev. Don't do that. Don't do that next time, please. Don't do that next time. Thank you. The moderator asked me a particular question. He let me to engage him, but he didn't want to ask. He couldn't ask me. Don't do this.
All right, let's go forward.
Go to the rule of engagement, please. Yeah, what I was just saying, it's just a normal process of our government bureaucracy. Leaders of our country will love to interact with people they believe they are pleased with. So if you see those names, the names of about 8 or 6 person, too many just name. These are people that I believe that are supposed to be in the influence of cycle of the leader. So that's part of the reason why the names are coming out the way they will come out. You only see Sylvester Peabody coming up because he's going the cycle or Ben Sanvee, right? So you hear about those names that the president elect will be very much comfortable. That's what I said. It's a very small country, and those leaders will be recycled on the basis of the confidence the president elect repose in them.
I think let me just chime in here, and I think that's part of the reason why governments after government we have failed miserably. All right, we have failed to the extent that we are almost considered an embarrassment to our true representation, because in a country of almost 5 million people, based on our population, you continuously recircle people who left offices that left no mark. All we can dwell on here, and I listen to almost all of us here, when we speak of those people who serve in government, oh yeah, he served in this position for this amount of time. Oh yeah, he was here, he knew it. But what legacy are we counting? What innovative mechanisms were put in place that the next group of people will utilize to continue to expand on the growth and success of the country? You continue to recircle the same group of people as though Liberians nowhere around the world can occupy some of these positions, and that's why we continue to fail. And you see them continue to. That's part of the reason why they always want to perform in cliques. Ben knows somebody in government who knows somebody, so that person will consider Ben not based on Ben's competence. Excuse me, Ben. I'm not saying that you're not. I'm just using you, okay, as an example here. Somebody bring Ben to a position that they simply feel comfortable with. Is it based on Ben's previous record, his performance at a specific agency that made you to think that he's competent enough to serve in this other capacity? No, that is not the case. They are simply dwelling on how long you've been there, who know you, and what can you bring and submit to all of the corrupt practices. If someone were to say, Ben, come here and serve at this agency, and Ben stands up to him and said, look, you know what? If you're asking me to
All right,
perform,
stop using my Nina. Oh.
your name is easy to spell. Your name is easy to spell.
Why you use Keff me?
Gabney got four, it got more.
I never see you. I never see you.
No, but on a really honest note, I think we have a lot of Liberian, young, brilliant, innovative individual in and out of Liberia. People who could be brought to government, okay, and utilized based on the skill set. I have not seen it happen over time. And again, these are part of the reason why we don't expect to be successful on the first attempt. President Weah attempted, all right. He brought in some young minds that he thought could actually be used, built them in the process so that they can encourage the rotating revolving door. Unfortunately, some of those minds that were brought in, they were not prepared adequately to serve in those capacity. Hopefully, we can learn from that and start ushering other young people to go out there and experience, get the needed experience, get the exposure, bring them back and retire some of these people who have been in government and failed. The people, we cannot continue to do these things here because that's part of the reason why we are here today. One of the oldest African country in the world, and we are still living like we are in the 1920s. And we are sitting here with brilliant minds on here, educated minds on here, and we're still talking about people who from the 20s and coming out here to serve.
So I want to skip 30 seconds, please.
Okay. We'll Chairman Ben, we'll go to Kev, Robert, and then Mr. Gonglo.
So 30 seconds. So you see, and I love my brother Lofa passion, but Lofa is trying to squeeze water out of a rock. And unfortunately, that don't work. You can't squeeze water out of a rock. It starts with the head. It starts with the head. Look, the Liberian people are a vast, more at least about a percentage of the registered voters made a decision that they wanted President-elect Joe Buckeye. When you're naming your Minister of Foreign Affairs, listen, elections have consequences, Lofa. It does. This is one of the reasons why we consistently said that if you're looking for change, the Unity Party was not the way to go. Listen, I'm not going to sit here and cry more than the bereaved. I will accept whatever cabinet Joe Buckeye gives Liberia. Why? Because those who registered to go and vote made a decision, at least if it's less than 1% of them, said that this is the person that they want. Look, the names that we're talking about, and like I think like Pee-wee alluded to, and Lofa, I'm not saying anything you said here is wrong. What I'm saying though is the country that we have, right? This is what we have to deal with. This is what we have to deal with. So let's pivot a little bit. I was looking at the list. The potential option for Minister of Education. I see Alare Tokpa on that list. Listen, I have nothing against Professor Alare Tokpa. But we're talking about appointing a Minister of Education in the 21st century. In the 21st century. I've consistently said over and over, I am looking for a Liberian president that will forget about coming to Washington and rather go to Silicon Valley. That's the kind of president I'm looking for. I'm looking for a president that will, when he come to America, he ain't not worrying about going to go meet people in State Department and take pictures in the World Bank, because 9 times out of 10, we know what we're going to get from state. We know what we're going to get from the World Bank. I'm looking for a president who is going to be groundbreaking in his or her thought process. Start doing new things. No knock on my big brother, Professor Alare Tokpa, but I mean, maybe he will be the Minister of Education. Maybe. I'm not, again, like I say, I accept whoever the president-elect will give the country. I accept that. But you campaigned and said that we took the country in reverse. He had the country stuck. I am waiting for our foreign policy. And that's one of the reasons why I think of the names that were listed, and I'm going to end on this, no 30 seconds, Peabody. The names that were listed, I think at the end of the day, it's probably going to fall between what her name, Sarah Besso Yanti and Elias Shonihan. I think those are the two people that may end up getting. And guess what? The two of them may either become minister and deputy together, right? But let me say this. The kind of foreign policy I think we need to start to look for, it's not foreign policy where somebody coming to go take a picture. It has to be a foreign policy that is attached to economic upliftment of the country.
Call it economic diplomacy.
It has to be directed towards specific interests, economic upliftment, advancement in STEM education, advancement. I want to see my foreign minister forget about Washington, D.C. for a little bit, start breaking new barriers, start forming alliances, Harvard University, sign a partnership agreement with the University of Liberia. These are the kind of conversations that I want to see having. But unfortunately, it starts with the head. The president of Liberia is the chief architect of the foreign policy of the country. They will follow what Joe Boyka wants to do. And unfortunately for the country, I'm not sure that's where his thought process is.
Go ahead, Captain Robert, coming.
I'll pass my time to Robert because he just come in. Robert, go ahead.
Look, thank you, Keff. It's great to be back on. Look, I think that I agree with Lofa. And the point that Ben is making is not one that to disagree with necessarily. But again, in as much as leadership starts from the top, in as much as we all want to see a leader who comes to Washington, and not just Washington, but who takes trips with key areas of interest, and not to just be in Washington and have dinner with the big boys and girls in Washington. But it's also important to look at individuals that have been appointed in key areas domestically, right? Because look, at the end of the day, if the leader comes to Washington and go to Apple, for instance, who are those representation he or she has appointed to speak on the behalf of the Liberian people? So the president trip, from my perspective, ends up to be useless if he visits or she visits these areas, but the appointment speaks the contrary to that. And so I think we should look at the appointment for what it is. Look, the appointments are what they are. The appointment speaks to what the president's interest is. The appointment will give us clues as to what direction, policy-wise, the president wants to take us in. And so I would look at those appointments. Now, it is normal, like Sylvester said, it is normal for leaders to appoint people that they are most comfortable with. But if each of us will continue to appoint people that we are most comfortable with, then how do we get to the point where we are hiring people who we are less comfortable with, but we understand has the CV to give us the best results?
Exactly. That's an important
It's
point.
the problem that we're having. I could be comfortable with Ben Sanvee. I could be comfortable with Keff, but my comfortability with Keff is personal. It's personal. We have to understand that. But I have to look at the CV of other Liberians and say, look, I may not be comfortable with this guy in the room, but based off of what I'm looking at, I think he stands a chance, or she stands a chance, of giving our country and my vision the best results. We have to get away from this comfortable. I understand that. Leaders have to get people around them that are comfortable. But remember, in Africa and Liberia, it's not unique to this. This comfort, this level of comfort breeds this level of yes, sir, yes, ma'am, all of the time. If I'm comfortable with Kev and Kev is my buddy, I know Kev gonna yes, sir me, because that's just what it is. But if you bring in people who don't care about the friendship, people who understands the rule of engagement, how you must respect the president, okay? But you can respectfully disagree with the president without worrying about losing your job. Then we need these kinds of characters in government. And what bothers me the most is not about these appointments. It's about the characters. It's about looking at areas they've served previously and looking at their results. What did they do in those areas? And what are they expected to do? I'll close on this note. I remember when President Obama took office, and he and the Clintons had this very, very heated exchange during the debate. A lot of things were said. And there were questions about whether or not President Obama would have just stuck with his team. Trust me, he had people, competent people in campaign, in key campaigns position that had proved to be great people. But the economy was a key area. The country was in a recession. And what did Obama do? He left his whole comfort zone and he went for a guy who had massive experience and great results during the economic times of Bill Clinton to help get us out of this recession. This is a man. This is a woman he has never worked with before, but he did that because he needed the best results. We need people that we're less comfortable with, and people that we understand have the CV to get us the best results. That's what we need in our country. And I'll stop it for right now.
Honorable Gonglo, go ahead. Let's talk about this recycling. We have Sarah Yanti have not worked in the government before. Elias Sidibe has worked, but another name I see popping up is the Liberia National Police. I hear the same old ABC, AB Krama, or Gregory Coleman. These are folks who work under President Ellen Salih's government. They served for the longest. Now, no other person is qualified to come back. They could come right back. AB Krama, Gregory Coleman could go back. Talk about that, Mr. Gundy.
When I listen to Julius, I think similarly in that same line. When you make an appointment like that in government, my own observation about Liberian government is like it's like a template. Whoever sit at the executive mansion takes that template and say, "Oh, who was there before?" They don't think all of the bags. If I were on the vessel of Joe Barger today, you said think Liberia, love Liberia, and whatever. I don't know what was it. Tell one to it. It's a thing and love Liberia.
Kev, answer now. Kev, you know the thing.
Think Liberia, love Liberia, live Liberia. I think.
No, think Liberia, love Liberia, and build Liberia. That was his.
Liberia. I know. I didn't follow you, so I don't know.
I don't want Kev acting like he know the men's clothing.
No, so if you look at that thing that he has promoted, in 2 election cycles, I would say he will go all of the bags. It will not matter whether the president is a Unity Party person. It will not matter whether the president has served the government for 20 years. No, let's try something new. If you are concerned about experience, I give it to you. Experience matters.
Yes.
I don't want to put experience away, but nobody goes to school for experience anyway. You get experience on the job. You get your first job, then you get your experience. So there is no school to say this is a school of experience. Come in the 10 year. There is a formal school where you go learn something formal, and then you get a job and you get the experience. So what I would do, I would take Ben Sanvee, or I would take Peabody or Tomalin George and put into a ministry and take someone who is an experienced person that I have confidence in the person and say, you're going to be an advisor to this minister. We'll find a consultancy fee for you. You give the person maybe 2 or 3 years contract. Within 3 years, Ben is supposed to gain the advice and the experience, drink from the fountain of knowledge of that person, and the person will do. So that's how you promote new people in government. Not just taking the same old people with the same mindset on solving the same old problems. No, you don't do that. If you do that, we are in a vicious cycle. We're going to be here tomorrow morning, 6 years from now, we say, I saw a post from United Party president today, and the president said, 6 year damage by WIA cannot be undone within 6 years. That's the kind of argument that will be made. The ball damaged the country too much, but you didn't bring any new mind to solve the problems. You brought the same old mind to solve all problems. So, and this is the kind of conversation we need to have. If Joe Barger is serious, I'd like to hear a strange name. I like for us to be scratching our head. We never heard our name. Where has that person been? That's the kind of thing we need to be scratching our head to go Google the person and say, where does the person live? What has the person done? That's the kind of thing. That's when we start shaking and say, I think this old man is up to something.
Right.
But some of the names are
Absolutely.
there. I worked in government before, and I left government. I said, look, I don't want to be deputy minister. I don't want to be assistant minister ever in my life. And I always say this publicly. I can only be a deputy to James Double Jala because of what I know about him. And I'm a little bit biased here. We both studied mathematics. We live together. So he's like a brother to me. And I know his way of thinking. We share a lot in common. So he can come and say, hey, come and be in my office as secretary. I'll work with him because I know if I pass idea to him, when he agrees with me, he's going to go and implement it. But I can't be deputy nor assistant to anybody ever in my life again. I can not be a hell of an entity. Because
can I ask you a quick question?
I've seen government and I don't want to see it anymore.
Can I ask you a quick question real quick?
Yes.
What is the respected and expected retirement age in Liberia? You work in government, that's what I'm asking you. Again, what is the respected retirement age and that of the
no for presidential appointment, there is no limit. You can be 80 years old and the president can appoint you. You know, for civil seven,
we'll come to you after this, Tony.
For civil seven, there are two rules. If you work 25 years, the agency you work for can choose to retire you.
Okay.
Or when you are, I think, 65 years or
65.
You can. We need to reform that law because people are beginning to live longer than that. So even in the US, I think they are adjusting the age. So in the case of Liberia, that's what it is. But for presidential appointment, no. You can elect a 90-year-old person, and that 90-year-old person can appoint a 94-year-old person to be your minister. You know? Okay. So I mean,
Tony, but come up, Tony, you got the name. You know, one of the names that's circulating there, as I said earlier, is A.B. Croman, Gregory Coleman for police director. And they got Sam Gay, who might go to the EPS. So the names are circulating out there. But somebody talk about some of the names that you have already.
Yeah, you know, I will come for a different approach though. So there are some of the names for these positions that, honestly, I agree that they should not be even being run government again. They should either be serving a different role. But like for instance, take for the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Elias Shonehin, Sarah Blesto, these are people that honestly, you consider them basically for they are young people. They are very young people. Most of them, I think, they are already in the late 40s or 50s, and they will serve the country well. Okay, we cannot just, and these people I think we cannot just dismiss them because of anything. But these are people who, if they are one of them is appointed nominated for the foreign ministry, I think we should support it. They're making a good choice for the country and so forth. But there's some people like come to our national security sector, so the names that we see on the list, honestly, I don't know why they are even putting their credentials out there to be reappointed. I don't think it's fair to the country. And I agree. When we want to rescue this country, we need new breed of people that will come and mix up with the old ones and so forth to rescue the country, as the guys claim. But to see the same names over and over, that's why we are here. And I told somebody who were all on Facebook during the campaign, making all kind of comments and saying things. Now the person telling me and say, Georgie, you're on your platform, you can't promote your man and say your man you promote. I said no. I said honestly, not for the country sake, I can't do that stuff. If I know you, my friend, I know you're not ready for that job, why should I promote you, your record and everything? I don't think we should do that. But we should be very, very thorough with these people that will be nominated. And President-elect Bouaka, he will really face a lot of scrutiny. He made a lot of promises. He on the campaign trail, the kind of people he will bring in his government. We want to see the changes he's bringing in the country. And like I had a call, received a call on Friday, and he told me he promised me. He said, Tomalin, I can promise you that those that have been nominated, they won't just get an easy pass.
Oh man,
He
I
said they
don't
won't get
know.
to pass. He said I would make sure that when it comes to confirmation hearing, I would do my job as a senator. I said, what to see, you know, and Peabody, look, we want a cabinet that will represent Liberia, okay? That for all the counties that are represented in the cabinet, that would be good, but we want a cabinet that will help the president-elect to take the country forward. But if you bring the same folks that have been in government with some tinted characters and so forth, stuff hanging over them, it's a problem. You know, I won't call a name, but there's a minister that the president-elect want to make. I heard that he want to retain. That person already have a indictment hanging over them on LACC. So if he attempts to nominate that person for that position, I'll be one of the first to call him out, and will it won't be fair to the country. He shouldn't do that. But again, all of us have a responsibility to ensure that we scrutinize all the names that are coming up. Once they make the announcement, if the person, but let's be honest too, if they nominate Sylvester Peabody for a position, and you know Sylvester is qualified and he can make a difference, we should be honest and say, look, give the man. But if you nominate somebody who we know they have a lot of stuff, red flag on them, we should be honest to come and speak against it.
And
Okay. Lofa, you want to say something?
yeah, I was just going to chime in quickly. Hopefully 30 seconds. You know, part of leadership is to be able to build or bring up new ideas and different contributor to the process. If I serve as a minister, all right, in any ministry, upon my departure, I should have somebody who can actually represent my ideal and implement successfully. That is the reason why people often look at leaders to bring up new leaders. You can't serve in the government for 20 some more years and you have nobody to look at and say, when I worked here, this young man or young woman worked with me, and I can stand up for them. I believe what they believe in. If you can't do that, then you are not a leader. Then you're not, and these are some of the reason why we continue to struggle. Like Councillor Professor Gonglo just said, we continue to fail because we are not innovative in our thought process. We continue to look for our colleagues, and we continue to look back down the same path. I heard my brother Tomalin mention Darius DeLon talking about he would carry on his senatorial duty. He would do things. Hold on, are we talking about the same Senator DeLon who was going to advocate for salary reduction? How far are we with the salary reduction? Are we talking about the same Senator DeLon here? Okay, who was going to live open with his people and feel protected? Less than a month into his tenure as a senator, he erected the longest or whatever fence. Are we talking about the same Senator Darius DeLon, who can only showboat for the camera and nothing else to show for his showboatmanship? Is that the same Darius DeLon we're talking about here? Let us be real to ourselves. We understand what these young men and women desire to do, but we must honestly hold everybody accountable. Like you rightfully said, no one should be left alone. If a man is qualified, if people is qualified to occupy a specific position, let us amplify the message to give him the opportunity to represent his people. Let it not be based on how close he is to a person, or how close he is as a member of a political party. And those individuals who felt like because they supported a specific political party during the elections, they should be given job. I think those people, the likes of Mandela Cooper and other people, should be scrutinized. Where did she work? How did she do there? And how impactful was she? Not simply because she can sit and discuss the issue, or because she supported on a boycott, and now she should be given the job to serve as a gender minister or something else. No, I think we'll not be doing justice to the country if we are to consider that.
That go to Sylvester, and then we'll come back to Robert.
Yes. Now, part of the reason why, and I don't know why, in some cases, and I will stick to this process, and most of the analysis we give and we try to push here currently is I'm pushing that from the personal perspective as a pundit, as a political pundit, right, if you will. And I thought probably the way Keff interrupted the first time ago, he felt a little bit nervous as to my thought process on this. This is straightforward intellectual analysis I'm giving on the political bureaucracy of our country. Kev, need to understand this very clearly. Now, the reason I'm saying this, for instance, the security sector we just talked about, we got AB.
Investor, continue to what you're doing and continue what you're doing and just leave my name.
Yeah, that's what I'm
because
saying.
because the show. No, stop.
We'll
Stop.
talk this in the back.
Stop. He called my name. You should tell him to stop. He's called my name the first time.
I didn't run for the call.
I didn't say anything. You are trying to interrupt. You can't. All I wanted for us to do it in circle. We cannot be just
guys, man. You're stuck.
We've been doing it in circle.
Don't tell me. Don't. You said something. I didn't say anything. You come back for the second time. I'm not going to allow you to slap. We run the show. Okay.
Listen, I got nothing to do with you running your show. I'm on the show. If you don't want me on the show, ask me. I will leave the show. Listen, not because you run the show.
I'm not saying that.
Not because you run the show. You will interrupt me the way you want to interrupt me. Come on.
Everybody can talk and respect the man.
Come on, that thing about you running the show.
Go ahead.
You contribute to the show. Come on, what show you run?
Everything you answer, forget it now.
Professor, go ahead.
Come on, what never you got the wrong show? So I was from the perspective of this process about saying, let's go back to the security sector and say, we need to dig back historically from past Lebron government. And we will also come back here a little bit, and that's what I was saying, the security sector for a particular line. Now, let's go back to Leon Panetta, for instance, the former CIA chief and former defense chief in this country. He served as defense chief under 2 different American presidents and also served as Obama CIA chief. A.B. Cromer and that of Gregory Coleman, these were individuals that served the past time. Now, that's the 2 names. Now, basically tapping the Liberian police. Now, historically, if you were to push when Madam Sadi even came to office, the analysis came across Chris Massaquoi and other individuals then that Madam Sadi, because the security sector individual that will be elected in our country will move around security individuals that they knew over the period of years. These are security people. When Madam Sadi came, she brought in Chris Massaquoi. Eventually, she brought the guy from the former agriculture individual, and then Chris Massaquoi and the rest of that. And then when President Weah came in, also it was tapping. We knew very well that the current police chief has some serious alignment with the president. That's how he was appointed chief of police. Currently, we have 2 of them: the former chief of police, Gregory Coleman, and now the former deputy chief of police. The 2 of them will be hearing these 2 names. Now, if I were given the opportunity to suggest to the new president, I would think that go back in the cycle of the Liberian National Police, take some of those guys that are trained, that understand the basic police concept. Do you know why today we have some serious problem in the police in the police sector? Because most of these people, like A.B. Cromer got some problem in the police. Gregory Cromer will have some issues. I don't support the line, but it's the thought process about our elected officials. The thought process about our elected officials. Even currently, I wouldn't be surprised if the current NSA chief, PSC, were to be retained by this current president. I wouldn't be surprised. And that's part of the reason why we're hearing in the cycle of it that the security sector, they need to retain that for the continuation of peace and stability in the country. And that's one of the reasons when President Weah assumed the matter of authority as president of the Republic of Liberia, he retained what he did. He retired Major General Zianga and appointed him Minister of Defense and promoted the Deputy Chief of Staff as the Chief of Staff of the Republic of Liberia, of the Armed Forces of Liberia. It's part of the cycle. And that's one of the reasons why I'm not, there's not something, a soothsaying mechanism here. We either hear Gregory Coleman tomorrow as police chief or A.B. Coleman as police chief. If Gregory Coleman is named as police chief, my best bet here, we're going to have A.B. Coleman coming back as deputy police chief for operation. Probably Colonel Monuba will come in as deputy for commandant, training affairs, or the rest of that. These are the way the appointment will be made in terms of the security sector. Then moving up to the immigration and the rest of that. But now when it comes,
Go ahead.
Yeah, when it comes back to the cycle of the way those names, now we got a lot of names. For instance, the foreign ministry alone got about 6 names from the foreign ministry. I wouldn't be surprised, but again, what I'm hearing is that Sarah Yanti and that of Shunia is one of the well-placed individuals that if you are to be named as Minister of Foreign Affairs, I would say to you, he's a career diplomat. A career diplomat that has served the Ministry of Foreign Affairs from different perspectives. He went as a cadet, very trained career diplomat. Elijah Shinia will be a very effective Minister of Foreign Affairs. It's not because of the way he operated or the rest of that. But if you are to bring Sarah Yanti, but all of the names that are coming in, so it's not an issue about how it will come in. The role needs to cycle. And that's one of the reasons why we say these are recycled names that will come in from for Eastern Manasari days. Manasari appointed about close to 4 Ministers of Foreign Affairs for the span of the 12 years. Came from
Robert, go ahead. Then we'll go to Councilor.
I just wanted to say though, I understand the politics sometimes. Trust me, I do. And some of us are still rookie, but God has blessed us with some wise men in our corner who have been around politics for a very, very long time, and so we seek guardians from them because they speak nothing but wisdom. And we also in all of that logic and that wisdom, we disagree because I'm a 21st century guy, but the truth of the matter is we have got, Dr. Peabody, we've got to get to the point where we are actually not only elevating these discussions, but we are demanding from our leaders to elevate the process of vetting and the process of recruitment. Right? I find it very hard to believe that Liberia, is only limited by a few professionals, and where we do not respect institutions and their independence. Let's look at the security sector. I frown on the idea of the early retirement of the current Minister of Defense. Like the country invested so much into this young man, Dr. Peabody, and to disrupt that for a political appointment that is temporary. I mean, what becomes of this young man, this young general, now that George Weah administration is over? What becomes of him? He's still young. He still had a lot to give to the military. I mean, we invested in his training abroad, and the decision back then, I respectfully, and I'm not going to question George Weah's appointments and what he was thinking, but this was particularly one example of how we do not respect the independence of institutions and the expertise, the experts that they bring into these areas. We can't politicize these things. Look at Gregory Coleman. Look at Coleman. I mean, this was another guy. You take him from as police chief, and you take him to Bureau of Concession. I mean, it just didn't make a lot of sense to me. And it was expected that he would have resigned, which he did in 2019, because he would have been more effective at the the Liberia National Police. I mean, this is a guy who he was fresh out of one of the biggest and most renowned schools in the world. It came from Liberians, people investment. These certain positions should not be politicized. These institutions should be allowed to operate and function independently. One last thing is, look at the EPS. I was so proud when I saw the president send over EPS officials to actually protect the president-elect and the vice president-elect. These institutions, I believe, should be funded, should be invested in, should be given the opportunity to get the requisite training that they need, and to be allowed to function independently. These cannot be political appointments and things like that. And so I will hope that as these names comes up, look, I would not be mad if Gary Coleman was appointed at Liberia National Police. I don't think he actually was given the opportunity to perform at the time he needed to perform. I think he still offers a lot to our country. But even with that appointment, I am so mad that the current defense minister, I'm sure that I'm hearing from all indication, the president-elect have his own guy. Look, these are politically appointments. You need someone in that area that you can. This is an area where I will say you need a guy that you can really trust, right? But the moment that these professionals function at the level they were trained to function, they should not be politics. They should not be involved in the day-to-day politics of our country, and they should not. You should not be doing early retirement for a temporary political appointment. And so this is where we find ourselves.
Mr. Gonglo, chime in real quick before
Yeah,
we move to
so
the next topic.
look, guys, I listened to Sylvester when he was speaking, trying to compare Leon Pelenta, the former.
Yeah, Leon Penenta.
So look, the thing is, I don't tend to agree when we make this comparison with the structure of government in the United States and with Liberia. I mean, they are so far apart. In the US, there are systems. So you have systems that have been built over years. So if you see a particular president of the United States going for a particular person who has served in different administration, every president has a defense policy. And the defense policy and the foreign policy are actually intertwined. Okay? So where you want to take the country for the next 4 years. So they look for the guys who share similar view, who they believe can make that happen. Okay?
Exactly.
So that's what you see happening here. So sometimes it may appear that it's not on party line, but it's actually ideological at times. So that's why Bush will go for certain defense minister. The Democrat will go for certain defense minister. Okay. In the case of Liberia, when I listen to Robert, the problem with Liberia is we invest in people, on bring them. The structure of our government is such that you put the person as the head. And of course, just common accounting principle. If you put the president, administrative principle, I should say, if you put the person at the top here, that person, if there is a change, that person is going to be among the first group of people to exit. And that's what is happening in Liberia. If you train Gregory Okoma, if you invest in him, then put in a more technical area in the police that will keep in government after government. But you're making the head, the IG, of course, new government come, you are in different administration, they're going to change you. It's not going to be based on your education. It will be based on the political linkage that they believe you have with the outgoing government. Okay, so if we train people, we put them in the area that is more technical, not more political. Okay, that would be my caution on that. And the same thing has happened even across all the different ministries. Government, some ministries invested in some people, send them away, spend a lot of money, brought them, they made them deputy minister. They made them minister. Of course, you're not going to be minister for 18 years, but you can be director for 18 years or even more. Because when you're director, you're civil servant. It's more a technical position. Okay? So I think we need to have, like, there was a discussion when I was in government. There was a discussion if we can have a principal administrative officer for each ministry. That principal administrative officer would be the more technical person in that ministry. When there is a change of government, in fact, the technical administrative officer will have more control of the ministry than the minister himself or herself. Because they will have all the technicians will report to that principal administrative officer. It is the principal administrative officer that will report to the minister and the deputies, not the director. The director report to one person, and that one person will report to the minister. So they were trying to work on that as part of the civil service reform, but it didn't pick up because you know what? Some ministers did not want the authority over directors and other civil servants to be limited only to one principal administrative officer. So they fought against it. Because in some of the former British colonies, that's how it is. Like in Ghana, Kenya, other countries, that's how they structure that government. So you have that president that can even have a PhD, but you are the principal administrative officer for that ministry. And you know more about the ministry, and you can do all of the technical paperwork, right? But when you promote Zianga to be deputy, to be a minister, of course, he's not going to be defense minister for life. Different administration is going to take it away. I mean, it's just a fact of the politics. It's not just Liberia, in other countries.
But it seems like within Liberia, it's just a norm
No,
that
because because the Minister of Defense is a political position.
right.
Yeah, so you want the
But I'm talking
person to
about
Yeah,
let the
it's,
person be the chief of staff.
yeah, but it's a political position. So what sense does it make, for instance, to disrupt, a more institutionalized, like an army, for instance, to make a political appointment when look at the defense minister. What becomes of him now? What contribution does he give to our country? He's out of there. He's
And
not going to be a defense
he's
minister
very young.
in this case.
And
It's
he's
a
very
political
young.
appointment.
well, I understand they are talk to retain him in that era. I
Why if they don't
understand, but
retain him?
well, then he just go like how other minister left. That's just
Well,
the norm of Liberia.
but you
People
know,
come in and bring who they
Well,
want.
my
Let me-
guess is, come on before you
let me
come
go
in.
ahead. Yeah.
My guess is they will retain Zanga not because Boaga wants to retain him, because Zanga is Brandon Samoga board. Those are the people Brandon Samoga post his stamp on them. Zanga, the Prince Johnson, those are the guys. So
That's a
because
reasonable point.
Samoga is one of the key decision maker in the Boaga camp, and he feels comfortable with these guys. These guys are personally loyal to Brandon Samoga. That is the reason why they will retain him.
Yeah, but the question is, does Joseph Boaga trust Zanga?
What
Does Joseph Boaga trust Zanga?
he
That's the
trusts
question.
Brandon Samoga.
Ronnie Samukai.
No, I think he trusts Zanga because when Madam Sadi was president, Zanga went through, yes, it. And there's this issue about this diplomatic play coming. The U.S. government reposes a lot of confidence in Zanga and that of his life when he came here to school and the rest of that. So part of the recommendation also is that would be the behind the same diplomacy. And it's part of the reason why Zanga may retain his post, because the U.S. government also would be doing some good recommendation on his behalf. The way he went through the training, the way he comported himself, the mark he scored through the military processes and the rest of that, yeah, that may also increase his chances of being appointed by.
Too many. Go ahead.
But
I
you-
agree.
you
I
are
agree
very
with
fair. You go
I
by
agree with the person that said that the government, Liberian government, invested a lot in Zanga and that group. Geraldine George,
Yeah.
the deputy chief of staff,
Yes.
Prince C. Johnson, the chief of staff now. They invested a lot in these individuals.
Yes.
And they are young, so it make a lot of sense for a person like Boga to maintain them, because I mean they still got more to offer the country, and the Liberian army that are restructured and have been reformed is geographically balanced right now. It's not an army where you have one tribe dominating the army like before. That's that where you have recipe of being afraid that anything can happen in the army. So with that, I'm sure that they will maintain him in a position. And talking about the EPS, only Liberia, because of, let me tell you something about EPS. In America, there's somebody studying Lofa is a professional. The Secret Service is a professional. It's a professional of force where they serve presidents that come in the first family, everything. But in Liberia, no matter what happened, even on that day you saw President we are sending the EPS to go take over the security of President-elect Baka and Vice President-elect Kun. Yeah, this people they send there after they are inaugurated. What they will do, you will find what you call bring your own people in now. This is what can happen, because you know something, the EPS, you are with that person 24/7, and the person that ride in the car with you, the agent in charge, who in the front seat of the president's convoy, that person that be somebody he can trust, that he knows very well, because you listen to the conversation having in the car and everything. And also too, sometimes you want to go on your little private mission, you need somebody who your special attendant can be somebody that you know very well too, because somebody who not going to start as soon as you now you go start putting your name on Facebook, say, oh, this and that. So that's why in Liberia is different. The EPS, that whole thing will change after they take over. The person who ride the car, President Baka, will be the person that he trusts very well and so forth. So the EPS, I have a problem with them, whoever they put there, because they'll be protecting them and their immediate family. So they need somebody they're comfortable with. But on
Just some information, Tommy, on the EPS. 9 times out of 10, what happens with the EPS, they change the administrative head.
Yeah.
But the core EPS, and you got to give the former United Party government some credit for this. What they was able to do when they transitioned from the SSS to the EPS, they had trained a strong professional force. I know that personally because some of the people who was with the now outgoing vice president are people who are with Joseph Boakai. In fact, the guy that you see all the time with Joseph Boakai maintained his EPS he maintained a small portion of the EPS because he's former vice president. So does President Sirleaf. They get a chance to pick, I think, about 4 or 5 or 7 EPS officer that will stay with them because that's part of their immunity. That's part of the benefits that they get. So what you will see happening, I agree with you on the part. There will be changes in maybe in what they may call the diamond, the circle around the person, because obviously the person needs to be very comfortable. But there's not going to be drastic changes.
No.
In fact, the detail from Joel will transfer to Kuhn. The detail from President Weah will transfer to President-elect Joe Buckeye. And then, like you said, just maybe just about a handful of them.
They put a rally, the special attendant, the agent in charge. These people would not.
And then they do change the administrative. They do change the administrative. The president does have the power to, even in this country, the president does have the power to change the head of the Secret Service. They can do those things, and stuff like that. So I thought it was just important.
So on the line of the appointments and so forth, like I said, our friend Ronnie did a very good job to do an in-depth analysis and research on these people. And as we go forward, with 2 more weeks to go, we'll have to do our due diligence by scrutinizing them. The minute the president made the first appointment, we should look at the names he nominated for the Senate confirmation and make sure that we do our part. Yeah, he may more likely not listen to us, but the idea, if somebody he nominates with question mark, we have an obligation to flag that person and bring them to vote.
We also see Councilor Gonglo name on that list. Can we ask Kelabu what from you his brother, is he going to be inclined to take a role in the Buckeye administration? Obviously, his party supported the UP alliance. His name is on the list, I think, for justice minister. Will he be inclined?
That'd be an excellent choice.
To take something in that? What are you hearing? I mean, you are a family member. I mean, if you can say it. You muted.
Give me a minute. Let me read. My response to you would be this. I think. Let me quickly give me a minute. Let me just quickly find the response. The line I want to read to you as my response.
Okay.
Run it.
If you got to find that spot, I already know it.
I can tell you one thing, though. One thing I know. If President like Buckeye is serious to really reform, let him make Gonglo justice minister. I don't know he's serious.
Yeah.
The man knows the law, knows the constitution of Liberia well, and with the part that say the justice minister is the only cabinet minister that can disagree with the president publicly on issue of legal.
Some people have challenged that. They say it's not in the Constitution. Is that true?
No, it's not in the Constitution.
It's not in the Constitution, but it's in the executive law.
It's the executive law that governs the Attorney General. There's nothing in the Constitution.
It's in the 1972 executive law.
So and should utilize it to the fullest.
It's in the executive law. It's not.
Yes.
I spoke to Councilor Gonglo on this before. He said no, it's not constitutional.
No, it's not.
So, but there's a line that Ronald threw in there that I wanted to read to you, but I don't want to take all of the time. But hear what I'm hearing. I mean, I've not heard from him. For the truth, I have not spoken to him on this because that's something that's not expected. Okay. Yes, he did support Buckeye, but Buckeye has so many qualified lawyers who are with the Unity Party, who have been with the Unity Party government. So, but from my perspective, from what I know, I've heard this many times, even before the elections. I think people in the Unity Party, they've not been happy with Councilor Gonglo. The manner in which he resigned from the government, the 12-page statement that he issued, and they were not happy the fact that he went to Atai Center to issue a statement and not on radio. I mean, it felt like he went to the masses, to incite the masses against them. So I think they've never forgiven him.
What about on the bench?
So they consider him more of a radical person that is difficult to control. So
what about the bench?
I don't think he has love within the circles.
What about the bench?
But then I don't think people around Buckeye may like him also.
So, Mr. Gonglo, what about the bench? Because Buckeye, as it stands right now, Buckeye will
put that out. Councilor Gonglo has always rejected that. In fact,
he doesn't want to go on the bench.
For the record, he was the one who actually went to LM Johnson Sally and said, LM Johnson Sally asked him, you have three options. You can be my legal advisor, you can be the social justice, you can be
Solicitor General.
Solicitor General.
And he opted for Solicitor General because he wanted to be an activist Solicitor General to make reform in the justice system. That's why he opted for. And when the social justice, he went to L.M. Johnson Sirleaf and recommended Francis Copper. He actually did propose Copper name to L.M. Johnson Sirleaf. Okay. So I've talked to him on that. He said, no, when you are on the Supreme Court bench, your liberty is seized. Basically, you see wrong in the society, you have to wait until it comes. If it doesn't come, you can't speak about it. So, you know, you are basically silent for the rest of the time you'll be there. So he wants to be an activist.
You see, those are the kind of decisions that people around the world respect. Some of us will only want to take whatever position is given to us because we want job in government. Okay? Or, well, if this doesn't work for you, how about this one here? No. I want to be influential. I want to be impactful in the position that I'm given, not simply because I want job or because I want opportunity to be considered a part of this government. That right there is the idea of transformation. I want to impact decision so when I'm no longer here, the kids after me, the generation after me will benefit from my contribution to government as compared to what some of us young people would think, but just put me somewhere until the next government comes or give me something to feed on until I can get my family across. That mentality will not move Liberia forward.
All right, guys. We got a few more minutes left. Tomorrow we'll be having a special show tomorrow on tourism. We'll have some great folks who have worked in the area who will be coming on. We'll have on NNJ. Sorry, we'll be having the NNJ tomorrow. The NNJ.
No, tourism. NNJ is Thursday.
Oh, NNJ is Thursday. Tomorrow is tourism. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And I understand we have somebody from I think the Bahamas who will be joining us as well tomorrow, and then Winfred Russell will be joining us as well tomorrow, and a lot of folks. So tomorrow will be really interesting to come and hear about folks talk about tourism and billions of dollars that have been raised just in different countries just from tourism. Ghana, the other day, Ghana talked about almost $2.5 billion that was raised in tourism.
Maybe Robert should moderate.
Robert will be on it tomorrow. So, but that's why I didn't call it. Robert will be on it. Robert knows more.
Maybe he should moderate tomorrow.
What time tomorrow?
The same time.
4:30.
Oh, okay.
The same time. We'll be having a show tomorrow.
Robert can't wait.
Robert can't wait. We just sit down.
Robert can't wait for tomorrow.
Yeah. I had too many block you. You sent a message here. You said too many block you.
Exactly. How you block and you commenting?
But gentlemen, before we go to the phone line, let's go back to that Yeke press conference. So
I want to get.
Before we go to Yeke, right? There's a guy I saw on that list. Ben, please correct me. Francis Jumeli. He's a guy who threatened to say he'll kill somebody.
Yeah, he's the former. And listen, that would be a tragedy.
I would say he's the former general.
He's the former general. He's on tape. He's on tape. It would be a serious tragedy if the president-elect appoints him as minister.
If the president-elect nominated
but do you have the video? I bet we don't have.
I do. I have it.
Everybody got a video.
I have it.
Everybody got a video.
I have it.
That video not only on Facebook, it was sent to
let's play it right now.
Yeah.
Let's play it right now.
Well, let's get to the Yeke discussion while I try to go to my archive and put it on here.
Yeah, go to the archive.
Let's get to that Yeke discussion because again, it's part of it's very important that Liberians hear and know exactly what Yeke was getting at. But guys, you can go ahead while I try to go to my archive and put up that video.
That's on the Yeke video.
Yeah, okay, Yeke video, right? What Yeke said that what he said, he called names of people. They should chill. They should take. But he said that when I spoke to Yeke after the press conference yesterday, Yeke said he was concerned about the president-elect making the contributions. Say on behalf of he and his wife, he's donating $10 million Liberian dollars. The question was, they asked about they maybe or money from the campaign or I'll play devil advocate. And he said, but then let him disclose the source of his money because it's against the ethics, code of ethics. You cannot come and be giving money.
But is he? Let me ask a question. Devil's advocate.
Yeah.
Is he currently binded by the code of conduct?
No.
So what? So what is Yeke's reliance?
Yeke's point was the president-elect said that he was living alone. He said,
okay, no, I agree with that. The
question is, how come now he got through the campaign? He didn't hear him give $10 million.
I agree with that, but he can't use the code of conduct as his.
Yeah, but I mean, okay, but Yeke's point is that where the source of the money coming from? Because two things happening. Even right now, anything the president-elect gets right now, two things the president giving to you for. I'm because they love him, or because they're doing it for a lot for access and for something for favor in the future.
Access is
so.
The point that I'm making here is nothing legally stops Buckeye, President-elect Buckeye, from taking.
No, you see,
except the moral.
Let me coming up yesterday or the weekend, the president-elect and his people were at a farm, right? At a farm. Now, I think you are privileged of conversation.
Is it true that people are doing repair on the farm as well?
We need to wait till they see the video.
People that went to get our video. People that went to the farm, who part of his inner circle went to this farm, they said, oh my God, this farmer who came here with nothing. Today, the Lebanese guys that have put in the farm out, doing a lot of work on this farm. Now,
made deploy security. Nobody will be able to find video from that farm. You're talking too much.
We are done to say that Jamaica. They will say the farm. They will say the farm, right?
Let me say,
Ben, here is my counter argument to the issue you raised on the legality of these things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, on another show on FOL, similar issue came up.
Yeah.
You see, I think it's a technical issue here. Will one maybe the Supreme Court interpret whether the code of conduct takes effect when the person was announced as an elected president? Because in the case of the president-elect and vice president-elect, they are receiving state resources. They are being state security.
That's the point.
So, and they have some authority now. So that's for me, I think they are under obligation to respect the laws.
That's a strong point because you're right. He is receiving state security. When he traveled recently, his trip was sponsored by the Liberian government because it's in the executive order that they are entitled to all of the things that we're talking about. So that's a very strong point.
They are receiving all the monuments now. So they should respect the code of conduct.
Yeah, and exactly the point, right? So
that argument was made on his trip to the U.S. There were allegations that some people gave either $150,000 gift, or there was this watch they were talking about that it probably cost $40,000 or more.
Yeah, a watch was wearing. Yeah.
So if you receive those gifts, that's in violation of the code of conduct. Because the code of conduct is very clear because you can't receive a value and a gift value $25 or more. No.
Ben quickly. The code of conduct also states the code of conduct does not say government officials. It says public officials. If you are to go to section 6.2, chapter 2 of the code of conduct, it also states public officials and incoming officials.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes. So basically, and it comes from 2.4, right? You talk about the process about talking about when you come with equity, your hands should be clean also is one. And the process about moving to this line. So if you are saying lambasting and continuously hitting on the current official government that they are doing, they are engaged in shenanigans. They are engaged in seditious activities.
We just see everything of the same thing coming to life.
Yes, exactly.
It's possible somebody will strike major deals before the unit got inaugurated.
Right.
It is part of that.
So what about
Ben? Ben, here's the thing though. I see you trying to push the legal aspect of this.
I'm doing this for education purpose.
Okay, and that's good. And that's a good thing.
I want people to it's not because of me.
No, that's a good thing. Ben. I like the fact that you're doing that. Yeah. But what I also want to emphasize on is this aspect of education. Should also include the fact that during the campaign, promises were made that Liberians should expect delivery on. The reason why Liberian thought that this rescue, as I stated, not rescue mission, okay, would save them from the calamity we found ourselves in then, was because they said they were the integrity team. They would bring accountability and they would bring some level of transparency. Okay, and that's why Liberian believed in them. Now to see prior to inauguration, the integrity man is engaging in this kind of behavior. It's scary because when that authority is given to him, what else will become of it? Will we then have another George Weah? This is why I continue to say.
So I have a question for you
Go ahead.
guys. Quick question again. Another educational question. We are about to enter another slippery slope, right? And I want the Gonglo to take this question, and then the rest of you can take a stab at it. During the Weah presidency, we never heard anything about his children. They were, nothing, literally nothing. That one thing you got to get George Weah. You never heard anything about family, being in government. None of that happened, right? We had a problem with the Ellen administration. We had that problem. She brought in Robert Salif. Fumba were in the government. There were several of her sons and relatives who were in the government. We are entering the Boyka administration. He has older children. Jojo is a friend of mine. I know him very well. He's been working. He was working in government. He resigned to focus on his father's campaign. There have been this allegation from Yeke that, Jojo then going around peddling influence and stuff like that. What role, I'm asking from a legal perspective also, what role would a child or offspring of the president be allowed to play in the case of a grown child like Jojo, right? Like a grown man like Jojo. It's not like you can say we are on his children where his son is playing soccer and he ain't got time for Timothy ain't got time for that thing you're doing in Liberia, right? Trump is a little young, so he wasn't involved in anything government-wide. But especially the president have grown kids, what role should they play? Is there anything they can do, or should they just be hands off? Because we see the same thing in this country right now with Hunter Biden and his father. Can you take a stab at that just for our audience?
Yeah.
So let me start on this. Let me start on this one. The question is, what is what are the qualifications of Joseph Boyka's children if they have intentions of being part of any government? That's one aspect of that. The second thing is, what role does he intend to have them play? And we need to know these things. Look, I don't think that George Weah could have appointed Champ Weah in any position without him being scrutinized or criticized, because I don't know his professions other than being a professional soccer player. I'm not sure what he does professionally outside of that. So that would have been questioned. His son, Tim Weah, is a professional soccer player. He's a millionaire. He does not need government job. The question is, if George Weah had children that were, into public service or had any qualification to perform in government, would he have appointed them? And if so, what that would have meant? And so that's another way to think about it. But let's look at Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. What was Robert Sirleaf's qualifications specifically? And which role would he have been more effective? Charles Sirleaf, what did he do? How effective he was? And I think we should ask this question as well. Were there other Liberians more qualified than the sons of Ellen Jones and Sirleaf? And this is where nepotism actually comes into play, where those appointments made based on family lines. Like, my kid is an opportunity for him to work, and he needs to work. Which government outside of Ellen Jones and Sirleaf hired him or hired them, and were they effective? And so, to the question you're asking, I think every Liberian should be given the opportunity to serve his or her country. I don't think children should be limited from serving their country if they are qualified to do so. But the question here is, if you are appointing your son or your daughter, you have to explain to Liberians how they are more qualified than a Ben Sanvee, or how they're more qualified than a Robert Gagwa, right? Or than a Dr. Perrin Peabody. If you are appointing them on the basis of not qualification or best results and just the fact that they are your kids, then it raises question. I do not know if Jojo, and I know his wife very, very well, a fine Liberian, she taught in this country. And so I'm saying this respectfully, but I do not know his profession. I do not know his level of qualification. I don't know what he brings to the table. And so I think it will be within our rights to scrutinize in an appointment made. But if I were advising Joseph Boycott, I would say, case hands off. Let Jojo do something outside of government. I think there's a lot of different ways he could be effective than to do something in government because it could backfire.
So, Mr. Gonglo, can you take a stab at it, please?
So, I mean, I tend to disagree with Robert a little bit.
Okay, while you talk about Jojo, can you also include nephews and
yes,
close family members?
I like Robert's conclusion, but his premise and his conclusion didn't go. Didn't really follow. But here is it. I think in Liberia, if I had known that Ben would have asked this question, I think I was going to do a little bit of research on that. I think there is a law on nepotism, either the executive law or something like that on nepotism that limits the president from appointing his or her relatives. Okay, so but Ellen Johnson Sirleaf didn't respect that. No, I think there is some. It all boils down to the weaknesses of our legislature, because the legislature would have actually called her to book on this. That this year is a law. I mean, she put her son to national security, to NOCA, to the central bank. I mean, all over the place. Even James Sirleaf was doing. My honest advice, that every job comes with responsibility and consequences. If Joe Boycott or anyone decide to become president of the Republic of Liberia, there are consequences. You're going to be the president, your name will be in history, you're going to have all these benefits, you're going to make money. Your children should actually take the back seat. They should not get in business. They should not establish business that would be dealing with government, would be government contractors, because they will present conflict of interest. Like when Ellen Johnson Sirleaf was in power, like her brother, Kanda Johnson, became consultant for many of the mining concessions. When we were negotiating with Lands and Mines, a certain couple of those meetings, he will be present while they're negotiating. I mean, his presence alone kind of intimidated all the ministers. Say, "Oh, the president brother with that company, we can't do." So that's the president's interest. Because if your brother is sitting on the table with the company negotiating with government, it makes it other ministers to say, where is the president's interest? Is the president interest with that company or with the government, right? So if Joe Boycott, children or nephew who are known publicly that these are,
So where does it stop? Who can work? Who?
I got. Let's speed it. I gotta go. Almost done.
I would think the direct children. Like,
because let's take example, Jake Kabakoli. He's the president's nephew.
Is actually Boycott's son in a way. Okay. I know that his biological son, or the story I've got is that I think that his sister, his only sister, child or something like that, and he took him in rating. He's still with him. He's staying to school from elementary, junior high, all the way, right? Okay. So traditionally, that's his son. That's why he has been like, his handler throughout the campaign. Even before the campaign, he was his handler, right? So if he has a situation like that, they present a clear conflict of interest.
So he shouldn't be appointed.
But quickly, just before people.
Yeah, too many quickly. Yeah, I'm close. We gotta go.
To give for the president-elect to get for his credit, I'm looking for that video. He made it clear 2017 when he was running. He said that he would never appoint any of his relatives to government. He made it clear. I want that video.
I think that thing has come to go through the window.
Look, when I found that video, we'll play a so that the reminded president like.
Yeah, but what about him appointing them on the inaugural the transitional committee?
But that's a problem right now because, for instance, the gentleman.
What benefit of the doubt you giving him, Tomalin?
No, but because based on his.
But he's appointed on the
exactly.
They're not,
are they on the
yes.
team?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the team.
I mean, the government is there.
Jake is on the team.
So that conflict right there, conflict interest right there.
We're getting up and read or something. you and your family people to help prepare.
Tomalin, you said, you see, the reason I'm tying you to this, you know, Tomalin let us do that thing. You know, he let us do that thing, and he can have that smirk on his face, say he's smiling. He likes to do that thing all the time. Tomalin, you said you would give the man the benefit of the doubt from a statement he made in 2017. The man has already appointed his nephew on the transitional team. More than likely, and let me say something about the transitional team. 9 times out of 10, those who make the transitional team make it in government. 9 times out of 10. It's a handful of them that would not make it in government.
President-elect Boyka, hear me well.
Can I get a brief opinion on this?
2017 that
Lofa not come back for you.
Will not appoint
and then
Senator Dillon also said on Friday when we talked, he said he would be watching to see
why Dillon didn't object to Joe being why Dillon object to the
because Jenna
will make a statement publicly on closing.
Let him make it. Not to call you in the corner. Not to call you. No, Tomalin.
Let him make it publicly.
He said now that election over.
Actually, you won't come here.
Election over. He'll be definitely making a debate on.
I challenge him to come on. He will not come on. I challenge him.
They don't go. I spoke with him today. He said he will come.
And we're not taking about the show when you come on.
No, everybody
don't understand. They don't understand how to maneuver with his colleagues. He said, "Okay, I'm cool with Tomalin. I'm cool with Ben Sanvee. I can use them."
All right, I will tell you to call you. Dylan, are you there?
I don't want Dylan to call me. We're not. Dylan myself.
So why you taking it?
Dylan understands that I would not be one of those to play blind eyes to his deceptive message.
So we don't play blind eyes.
And he dance to the camera. So he would because they don't have literally. He showed to us the real DeLon. And some of us again, we want change. Come on, guys, we want change. Let Dara DeLon come to the public like Big Brother Gungala said. Let him publicly make this statement so he can be held accountable when the time is right. Not to call us in the back and make this kind of claim.
I was on Julius Jar doing an interview, and he was coming in next. Peabody. The man opened the studio. The man looked at me. He said nothing to me. He went by outside. He didn't even speak to me. I don't know what the man be for me, but he should come on. I dare him to come on. I know he's listening. Let him come on.
Look,
the man has no credibility.
It seems like even the viewers here, if you read the comments here, they all have learned something from Senator Dillon. Talk and don't do.
Ben, can I briefly look at Ben? What you said about
Ben? You be careful when that man come back. No, what do you want him? So you better
go ahead.
Ben, quickly.
Now we got 5 more minutes. We gotta go.
Quickly. Just 30 seconds. As Ben can say, I will take Ben 30 seconds. The issue about this, the children of the president or the sons of the president, I will look at it from this perspective. I think. And I will hope, and President Weah did set this record. Madam Sadiq came with a lot of her children in government, from the security sector, the banking sector, and that of the bureaucratic sector, because from that perspective. But President Weah came within a year, and none of the Weahs actually in government in terms of a children, immediate relative. That was a clean line of it. None of them played a major role in government. But what I'm hearing, I think, but again, from the perspective of the incoming president, his 2 sons, both of them got a master's degree. Probably, what I would suspect, they wouldn't be openly appointed in government, but it will play some role as member of internal kitchen cabinet, review most of policy process of the president, using the educational powers.
Is that what you're hearing?
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. That's what
let me ask you specifically about Jacob Akoli. Is that what you're hearing about him?
No, I'm not hearing that about Kabakori. I'm hearing that particularly about Tantam and Jojo. Jojo, both of them hold a master's degree. They will also play a role, particularly Jojo, was sent an internal role as a kitchen cabinet, helping to review other policy issue and help the women go through some of those things. But he wouldn't be appointed then open-ending government. So Jojo will use that line and all.
So you're hearing that Jacob Akoli could get appointed in government.
I'm hearing that Jake is pushing to be appointed in government, but the woman is not inclined to appoint him, and that's what I'm hearing.
But how you got involved? How you got so entrenched in the UP?
I'm a pundit. You know, you speak to some people that also speak to.
Everybody have a look for that ongoing conflict. So
there's somebody that you speaking to that I also speak to. You know,
Okay.
and I get on the line. So I'm a pundit.
No,
right?
no problem. I just wanted to make sure that
But
if
Jake is
you
actually pushing to be appointed, but the woman is not inclined to appoint him. Actually,
now we gotta
So
go.
that's part of the reason.
Kev, you want to say anything before we go?
He was inclined to appoint you on the transitional committee.
I know, right?
No.
Yeah, on Wednesday we're having the Vice President Joe Howard Taylor on the network. The flyer, I think Tomalin posted, will be out there. And in the case of Dillon, he's a sitting senator. If he come here, we'll treat him with respect and ask him the tough question. That's all I gotta say.
All right, guys. Let's. Are we taking calls, Henry? Can we take calls? Or it's late.
I think we should take calls though.
Huh?
At least
Yeah,
calls.
Let Henry give us the permission to do it. Henry, are we taking calls?
And I thought for a long hell.
The player officer, you gotta go east out in the plane hole so that way in the plane to remember that.
It's 12
Time. The 12 hour, the 12:05.
So can we close?
Yeah.
Well, let's take 5 calls and then we'll see.
I see Henry the boss.
Oh, Harry, you still taking calls? I think you gotta
Five
go.
calls.
No, that's okay. The man the boss. The man's over
Five calls. Yeah.
Okay,
Harry, when I
let's
come to
go
La Bureau, pick a spot.
For the public.
Go far call on the Manjana game. The Manjana.
Bravo, if you I came to you, man. I came to you. I didn't see you, Bravo.
My man, no, I inboxed you. I was busy, but I said come to the office. I had a whole VIP for you and everything.
077070635 is the number to call the phone part.
Next time.
Okay, brother.
1 minute per caller. 777070635. Placing your call and you're gonna be live on the closing argument.
Somebody said Harry always got attitude.
077070635 is the number to call, and then you're gonna be live on the closing argument. To the very first caller, you have to stick to the point, and then 1 minute, please, because no time. To this caller, good morning.
Hello, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing okay, and you?
I'm fine.
The morning.
And even why you join us?
I'm joining you to allow to be specific. My name is Peabody.
Okay, go ahead.
I want to say to the panelists, great discussion. But only one session can do discussion, although maybe it might not matter, but that character called Dillon, do we think it's still worth discussing our policies? For me, I don't think so, but so far the discussion is great. I think like I am about to see it. The
man, I said this senator is very well.
Great job, good choice. More to come. Thank you for having me.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
The man said today what discussing.
777070635 is the number to call. To this caller, how are you?
How are you?
I'm doing okay, and you? Your name from where you join us?
My name is Ibrahim from Crystal Boys around here.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, we are doing as well. And I want to say thank you for your discussion. I think on the show is these people came to power with deception and they want to live in that. Now, if you see that you come in with clean hands, you come to full corruption, you cannot be sleeping with people who are corrupt, center water spoon, money samuka, and taking bribe from people because as people giving you things because you are elected as president, they have interest. Sometimes they will disclose them, sometimes they will not disclose them until you are taken. And then you're going to affect the country. So you say you come to put everything to the right perspective, and that's so that the Liberian can benefit. And then you are doing this kind of a thing, and it's kind of a powerful way to see Ambassador Kwaga. But actually, the public himself admitted that he's corrupt. If it is to show on Twitter when he appeared in this, about the time is who why the gradually when people listen to me in places of power and that's related to corruption. And also is there it's called opportunities that also is thing of corruption. A lot of things that you say.
That's it. To urge him on. So
yeah, but if you to urge him on, you want to correct him, you can be doing those kind of things that he's doing now. by taking money from people and other things. You know, it just is issues. You know, I don't want to say thank you very much.
Okay, sir. 770-17635. We'll take maybe just 2 more calls, and then we'll turn back to the panelists. 770-17635 to the caller. Second to the last caller. How are you?
Yes, I'm fine. Let me say good morning. My name is Abdurrahman Ba, and I joined the conversation from Red Light.
Okay, Adua. 1 minute,
okay.
Please.
Okay, firstly, let me commend the great panelists on the show. I want to say thank you to Uncle Sanvee, Uncle George, and the rest of the other folks. But my issue has to do with I call him Honorable Keff. I want to caution Honorable Keff. You know, now we are in the opposition. It is true we are all hurt the form and manner in which the election went. As a matter of fact, the closing argument is one of the biggest and widely listened to platform at about this time. So when we are discussing issues, let's take away anger and sentiment out of it. It is just a question to him. I'm begging him, please. Some of us, we, cut our sleep to listen to you guys. But many times when he comes to the discourse, I'm not saying he doesn't speak the issue. He speaks to the issue, but you can sense the anger and, some sentiment. And I want him to do away with that. Thank you, guys.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. You say you tell us that you can cut your sleep. What's about us? We can cut our sleep to do the work.
That's somebody. Last caller. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, the last caller. Yeah.
Tomalin, thank you very much, man, and good evening, guys, for the effort, man. I know since the election, this is the first time calling back, man, but I've been following
what's his name?
Abraham
a lot have been discussed. Abraham V. Conner from New Jersey, guys. All right, it's great, but the last topic you guys had, we got to go back to history a little bit. Firstly, to the best of my knowledge in contemporary history of Liberia, George Weah is the first president that did not publicly appoint any immediate family member into cabinet positions. He's the first in contemporary politics. You can do your research on that. And it comes to the United States, wherein President Kennedy was the only president that appointed his sibling as Attorney General, the one that got assassinated, and that it became a hullabaloo in the United States. Unfortunately for him, he got assassinated anyway after his brother died. But so those things have to be important. But here's the thing. There are just some basic things that President-elect Bouakai is not living up to the kind of norms when it comes to integrity issues. You cannot avail yourself to a gentleman that have been indicted, not only indicted, but convicted. And you set up such a man and give credence to it. Tell me, what else can't you do? So to sit here and then start to put over those things, let's wait and see, gentlemen. But indeed, it's just not a good thing at this time, regardless, even if the siblings are qualified. Mind you, President Talbot, he had more than almost all his siblings are PhD holders, his children, and the country cried for that. Case in point, Stephen Talbot, he has several degrees. But yet still the country cried why the nepotism was so prevalent. So we got to factor in those things, and then we got to hold these people feet to the fire. But I'm yet to see the moral compunction when it comes to where the president-elect appears. Thank you, guys.
All right, guys. Thank you. I think we're running late. We may not do closing. I think everyone want to go home. Let's just make sure tomorrow is the tourism show. We're going to have some of the greatest tourists around. Robert will be here to lead. In fact, I think Robert should conduct the show tomorrow so that we can sit there and have he ask his tourism question and we can learn from all of them. So Robert, you have to come early and conduct the show tomorrow. You guys will be on tomorrow, but we'll have some great folks here and we're going to be talking politics. But by the way, I was just informed by Councilman Winfred Russell that the fire chief, former fire chief of Minnesota, now the fire chief of Texas, will be traveling to Liberia for the inauguration. But while there, he's going to be doing some assessment of the recent accident that took place with the truck and other area in our fire department. So Winfrey have always strived to do this. We have sent people there to train our fire, the fire department in Liberia. They have sent trucks and everything to Liberia. I don't know why they can't make this man city mayor. The dude, the dude have a degree in urban. He has all the degrees. He worked. He had a connection. Come on, man. Joe Barker worked with this man before. He even helped him run a campaign for mayor in Minnesota. And the work this guy does, he connected everywhere. We want to see Monrovia change. See how dirty Monrovia was the other day when people were cleaning and stuff like that. So, man, look. If you're listening to me, I'm not part of the party, but you say you were bringing people off smart people to the government. Winfrey Russell is the man, city mayor of Monrovia. Yeah, please appoint this man. Thank you.
Well, a program note. On a program note, we'll be having on Thursday. You will know why somebody will be here, an expert will be here to tell you about the electricity, why Liberia is, why we cannot get this electricity issue. You hear all the gossip, but all the not gossip, but all the things that are behind our electricity, why we struggling with electricity, because you need electricity for investment to come in your country. No one will invest in your country, they don't have a stable electricity. So we're having a keynote fellows will be here on Thursday. It's a sponsored show, paid for show, sponsored to come and engage the Liberian people, our electricity, our energy sector. And I know he will be hitting on all angles, even the everybody who's involved in the electricity sector will be. He's going to talk about why we are where we are right now, and the kind of a money Liberia is missing on it. He'll be giving an in-depth analysis about electricity situation, and also we also will be discussing soon about tenure position. There are some positions that they made tenure that shouldn't even be tenure position, and
exactly.
This should be script. So we'll be discussing it. I know some
people. You want start a whole new show, yo. No problem.
No, but I come in about it. Yeah, some of the position that tenure position should be scrape off because
I agree.
Make no sense. And like my brother Ben said, anything that has to do with integrity, institutions, and national security, okay, we understand that way for the country. But some position at tenure, people just get in going for 5 years, 4 years. It should not be there. And lastly, the Liberian, another sponsorship coming on. We'll be talking about Liberian soccer soon, where we have Benedict, Mama, Musa. All the guys will be here, I think, either this week or next week to talk about Liberian soccer from the days of Tolbert to President We Had Time to Boyka. We'll talk about having that.
Bring that on Sunday, man. That bring that Sunday.
Yeah, right. And it will be coming to discuss it. So get ready for a week of a lot of interesting programs coming up. So yeah, so get ready for that.
Since we were talking about all of these great things, let us also not forget to ask for justice and accountability in Liberia. The late Joshua is gone, but we think that all of us deserve justice in Liberia. And the fact that perpetrators of this heinous acts continue to run around the streets and the social media in Liberia and pretend as though nothing ever happened and show no remorse for the deceased or his family, called on the Liberia National Police to reinforce their efforts in making sure that perpetrators are arrested and brought to justice so that all of us can feel safe at home and understand that justice for all is very important in Liberia. I end on that note.
Tomorrow's show is being sponsored. One minute. A peace sponsor show tomorrow's show. So Peabody, I was surprised you put the stuff up. People,
let me say this.
Also tomorrow. Well, we
let me say this. Let me thank Makan Shala for her gift, and Winfrey Russell for his gift too towards.
More people have sponsor our show tomorrow. So we can come on tomorrow. We didn't try to come on tomorrow, but please. And the show for Thursday is being paid for already. But the legislative show already been paid for. So hopefully, but for Thursday and Tuesday and Thursday. So look forward to that.
We'll do the catch up tomorrow, and we'll put it up so we can get anybody who want to gig. So
and I want to encourage the current leadership to tune in. Hopefully, I've made some contacts with some of my friends who are frequent to the president. And Ben said 99% of the time those are appointed on the inaugural committee.
So man, I just
That means I got three of my men already in government, man.
So Ben, why you're on a transitional thing? Why? Oh yeah, why you are appointed?
What are you talking about? Exactly. You just in my case.
You are appointed.
So, but I expect the incoming government to tune in. Please tune in and listen. There's things a lot to pick up tomorrow on the show. Thank you.
Yeah, and just about too many quickly. The 10 position thing you talk about, there was some new law already at the legislature to scrap up. Now they're going to focus. It didn't pass, but I think it stayed there to remove most of those institutions.
Yeah, some of those positions
the constitutional and transparency
for central bank.
Yes.
For LTA.
Yes.
GSC, LSCC. Rest of that, man, start all that crap.
Exactly. There's a room for what the constitution also spoke of three, which is the Electoral Commission, the GSC, and I have the Civil Service Commission. And the rest of that.
When we appointed NEC for 2029, you appointed?
Peabody, are we going to be live on the radio on tomorrow as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're on tomorrow. We're on.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So good night. Thank you.
All right, guys.
All right, guys.
Good night. Thank you, Henry. We're working on that. Henry will get you a motorcycle.
Good job. Make sure tomorrow.
We'll try to get you one to be able to go home. We'll try to do that.
But then we have to do that rally 1 week and just raise that.
Yeah, but the thing is, he might have one. Everybody else
major sponsor there.
Rob will lead the effort. Rob will lead the effort.
Tomalin George alone get raise that money, you know.
Yes.
That's a phone call tomorrow.
In fact, our invitation, our plane ticket for the inauguration already yet. We just got it today, so
that convert the ticket to the motorbike. That's all.
No, we'll work on it. We'll work on it.
See, we'll be in La Brother of January.
Good night, guys. Good show, man. Good night.
Call me, man.
Okay.
I got no time to worship humankind. I only worship the Almighty. The Almighty, through His prophets I have learned.
And I tell you, folks, this is all the time we have to be here today on the program, the closing argument. It's been very fascinating, interesting, and educative. Let me say many thanks to the team there at Hot FM, Zeze Bala, Hot FM 107.9, and the team there at Tuva FM and Nimbat 106.9, and other community radio stations for relaying this program. My name is Henry Jarafat on behalf of the team. This I would like to say bye-bye. Join us same time tomorrow for another interesting show here on the closing argument. Bye-bye.